sports, and politics. Get ready to rumble! You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Oh!
Eric's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought? Happy New Year. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, all that good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It is about to be the brand new year next year. Looks like JT's having problems with his camera, but I guess he'll be on in a second. There he is right there. But welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics, the absolute last episode of 2022. 2022. This has been one hell of a year. It's been one hell of a year. It really has. We're going to talk about it, but today's episode, we're going to discuss fantasy football finals. I'm in several of them. Came up this close to having like almost 80% fantasy football finals. I'm against that guy's cousin, Sammy, who's supposed to be here, but ain't gonna be here. Don't know why. But
He's at Disneyland.
Oh, that's right. He's at Disneyland with the wife and kids. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Enjoy yourself, Sammy. Because
Remember, he just got married, so he has no choice.
Yes. Clink, clink. Speaking of being, JT just stepped. I was about to bring him on too. It's been a tumultuous year so far. Tumultuous. As a journalist, I want my mom's calling me right now in the middle of the show. I can't answer that right now, Mom. I love you. Barbara Walters just passed away at the age of 93. And that kind of hurt me a little bit because she's a truth teller and a truth finder, and she's conversational. So I know we lost a lot of celebrities and things like that this year. But to me, she was one of the people, especially in this career field, because we're journalists, whether we want to believe it or not. I'm classically trained. Q, you become somewhat of a journalist. And JT is somewhat of a journalist as well. Let me bring him on as he scrolls through his TV. I don't know why he's throwing his hands up.
Finally.
The show already started.
What's up, Jerry?
You waited all this time, and now you bring me in. Okay.
Hold on. You come on when the show already started. Q was on time. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, okay. All right.
I'm never late.
Oh yeah, you.
Hey, Jerry, me and you, we always think alike, bro. I like the color, homie.
Oh, geez. You got that blue and gold Christmas tree. It should be silver and black. It should be black in the morning. I know you're not me, but we're gonna talk about it.
We got to talk about this because I got a question for him. Okay, Q, I got a question for you.
All right. We'll talk about the benching, and looks like it's going to be the eventual release or trade of Derek Carr. It looks like they're making way for one of two players, in my opinion, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about that in a second. But right now, let's talk about the neighborhood street football league championship. Now the projections have it as a 1-point victory for this guy. And Jerry, I'm going to tell you something. You gave me the slickest idea ever last week.
Oh, that was you, Jerry? Oh, hell
It
no.
was Jerry. Jerry, what's up, House? House is a Raiders fan as well. So Jerry
That's,
gave
that's
me
it, Jerry. We ain't trading next year.
he gave me the
Oh
best
wow!
idea because I wasn't thinking about it until Jerry brought it up last week. And then I
Wow.
said, "Huh, I got room on my roster. Huh, let me make some moves."
It's the
So
last week. It's the last week. You ain't got to hold anybody. It's the
yeah.
last week.
So I knew that Sammy was going to need a quarterback.
Oh, you didn't do that, did you?
Oh, yes, I did.
What I say the guy did to me? What I call him?
I don't care what you call
I
it.
told her you was gonna do something like that too.
I
I warned him. I
told
warned him.
I
I
told
didn't
him.
even know you guys were doing this, and I warned him.
Let me tell you the Q. I'm in another league, my nephew's league, and the guy I was going to get in the semifinals was really afraid because I had a better team, really afraid of my team. And I had Jalen Hurts, and quite naturally, he went down. And I only had one quarterback on my roster. He took all his roster and emptied it out and took all the best quarterbacks and put them on his bench. That's what he did. That's what he did.
So I came up one quarterback short because I didn't think it was worth it, but it might be worth it. I might have grabbed the wrong one. But I went and got because I thought he was going to try to get Debo again since he dropped Debo and there's a chance Debo was going to play. And I got Purdy, and I got Minshew. Well, he went and he was able to get because I spent all my money on Minshew. I think he was going to get Minshew. He spent his money on Jared Goff.
Ooh,
Which is an interesting pick.
This is a very good pick.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, yeah, I kind of told him because you had $20 and he had $23.
No, I had 23. He had 20.
I mean, it don't make a difference. You got what you wanted, and he got what he wanted.
I know, but I spent, and it was a good play on his part because my thought process was he's really not going to go after Jared Goff. But then I was like, oh man, he got Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You know. Let me put it this way. I called the guy. I didn't say it on the chat, but I said to you that it was a punk move for the simple reason that
Smart move.
Well, that's because you did it. That's because the other guy did it. So he said it's a punk. He said it was a smart move. To me, it was a punk move because the fact is, I would have never done that. It could have been to my detriment, but I would never have done it. I would just say, okay, you pick a quarterback, no problem. You have to replace the quarterback. I would never empty my bench to do that because you never know.
Q, your
That's
thoughts
all
on
right. My thought process is probably different than his.
Well, that's why I'm asking what Q's thought process.
No problem.
Well, I think it's all fair. It's all fair, and whatever that saying is, you know, if you're in that position, yeah, if you're in that position to do it, you can do it. You can do it. But I mean, it shows that you're a little bit scared, but whatever.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Let me explain this.
That's why I call it a punk move.
I don't
Only
care.
punks are scared like that.
But
That's a punk move.
Ladies and gentlemen, he does have
Q.
Be quiet.
He laid the elbow down.
So my opponent has the better roster. He's had the better roster all season. The man went what? 12-1?
Yeah.
Or 12-2?
13-1.
But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. It don't mean anything.
He also has I think the highest scoring team next to Q.
Don't mean squat.
By 3 points, I believe.
Don't mean squat.
And
14-10 Alabama.
Huh?
14-10.
I know, I'm looking at it. You way behind, bro. You way behind.
Am I?
Yeah.
What the hell?
But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that I had to even God said, Jalen, we're gonna sit you down for a week or two. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Because if Jalen played this week, I would probably just be sitting there looking at second place and be like, okay, well, whatever. Because I love his team, honestly. I think Sammy has proven, and I know that Brent says that he was handed a title last year. He had to still play the game and set his lineups. But this year, he drafted really well. Really well. So I'm not mad at him or nothing like that. I just had to thank the Lord that the odds were even a little bit. Now, will the Jared Goff situation going against Chicago, because we want to talk about that game first. And when we get to the Raiders game, you can ask Q your question, Jerry. But will Jared Goff going against Chicago be a good thing, or will it be an average thing? What I mean by that is this. I don't think Goff's going to put up major numbers, right? I think he'll do well, but I don't think he's going to put up major numbers.
I think that's going to be the highest scoring game this week.
He's going to ball out. He's playing at home. He's going to ball out. Trust me.
I think him and St. Brown are going to go off this tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, DJ Shark, he's going to ball out. And don't discount that. I can't remember his name. Don't discount that tight end either.
Well, I'm not discounting anyone.
He's going to ball out.
Sammy is got a good team, and I hope that Goff does not ball out. I hope Goff reverts back to his
35 points.
Throw the ball.
I give him 40-45 points in this game, in this match. I give him 40-45 points. He's going to ball out. The defense of Chicago is not that good. The pass rush is not that good. And definitely the back end, they got guys out in the back end.
Yes, they do.
So Jared
and
Goff,
Detroit needs this game, bro, to may stay in the playoff hunt.
You know what Jared Goff was doing going into that game?
No, you know who I think's doing that in this game?
He's going to ball out, man.
I think DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams are going in this game. The reason why I say that is because the past couple weeks, that run game has not been what it's supposed to be.
That's why they're going to ball out in the passing game.
But Detroit is still in it. They got a long shot. But if Minnesota beats Green Bay and Washington loses, there's a chance Detroit can jump up in that last spot.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to go into the playoffs without a run game. And I think Campbell is thinking, I've got an early game. We're going to let it all hang out. So, yeah, Goff might throw the ball a little bit, but let me control this game and not give Fields a chance to run around or anything like that. But I will say this, because we're going to go to the other games. Let's need wins or losses right now. I believe that David Montgomery has got to play a major part in this if Chicago stands a chance at all. At all. For the championship in neighborhood, like I said, it's a 1 point projected win for me, but it can easily swing the other way. Easy swing the other way. I take it you both are going to pick Detroit in this game.
You know, let me say this, man.
Oh, Jesus.
Like I said, 40-45 points is what I'm thinking that Jared Goff is going to put up in fantasy. You don't think so? You just contradicted yourself. You just listen to what you just said.
No, I didn't contradict myself.
Yes, you did, because you said the Detroit running game hasn't been that well. So what are you thinking? Wait a minute.
I said he's going to try to get it together. I said he's going to try to get his run game.
He's going to try to get it together, but they rely heavily on that passing game. Heavily on that passing. That's why you see that's why you see Jared Goff putting up numbers, and he did it last week on the road. What do you think he's going to do at home?
Gentlemen,
You know what?
I
And
gave a synopsis.
This
Come on.
may be a fatal mistake on your part of not picking up that third quarterback.
Yeah, I thought about that.
You
But
know,
again, I only asked, are you picking Detroit? That's all I asked.
I'm picking Detroit easily in this game. If the division game, usually they're closer, it ain't going to be close this game.
Okay, so
I got Detroit winning 38-17, bro.
Yep, easily in this game.
38-17.
Oh, they're going to rack it up, man. They're going to rack it up.
I'm telling you, I think Amon St. Brown, he hasn't gone off in the last 3 weeks, bro. I think he's going to go off tomorrow. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not rooting for anybody, but I'm not even rooting for my cousin either.
If I'm not mistaken, the last time Amon St. Brown played the Chicago Bears, in Chicago, he went off. Over 100 yards, at least one touchdown, maybe two.
Okay,
he went off.
Wonderful.
Trust me.
No, I don't trust you. Not on
that. You trust me. You trust me enough to give you that money, didn't you?
We have a business agreement. But
I could have ghosted on you.
And I would have sued your ass.
I would have ghosted on you. I could have ghosted.
The fact that you said that makes me think you thought about it.
Oh, stop. You know what? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Q. He's the most distrusting person. He distrusts people just like that. Just like that.
Yeah, I will admit.
Even though we've been known to each other for a decade, even like that. Come on, bro.
I'll put it to you this way, Q.
Come on, stop.
I will put it to you this way. He talking about me distrusting. I told this man when we go into Vegas, I got the room, everything's taken care of. Don't do nothing. Just go walk around. No, you're talking about me being distrustful. We're gonna talk about it. So I tell this dude, just go walk around until I get there. I'll be there probably in a couple hours, like 3 hours after you land, because he got an earlier flight. Good for him. I think it was a direct flight.
Yeah, they ain't gonna walk around the fucking place for 3 hours.
He says, all right. I'm gonna do it. And then when I get there, I learned that this joker tried to check in. He checks in, but instead of the thing going on my card like it was supposed to, it goes to his card. And now he's like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, dude, I told you. You can't hear us, can you, Q?
No problem.
He can't hear us. I don't think
I can hear you.
I said Q.
What happened to him? What happened?
Because he dropped his ears out, and I think he's trying to pair them again. But anyway, don't talk about being distrustful, because that was the most distrustful thing.
Oh, stop. You bring that.
No. You're gonna talk about being distrustful. That was distrustful. But then, can you hear us now?
No, that was being quick with the trigger.
Right,
that was being quick with the trigger. And
yeah, being distrustful, especially when I said I got it all taken care of. When I got it all taken care of, they say, okay, I got it. But then you go around and do that. That's being distrustful.
Don't be distrustful. I was impatient. That was not distrustful. I was impatient.
Same thing.
Impatient. I wanted to get in the room and relax. I'm older than you, bro. Come on, man. Stop.
Oh my God. Shut your pot. I don't want to hear that. I don't. Well, you are.
No. That's a fact. I'm 20 years older than you. When you get to where I'm at, you'll understand. Trust me.
Well, no.
When you get on a 6-hour flight,
if somebody tells me that they've already got it taken care of, I'm going to trust that they already got it taken care of. And if I got to go sit down in the casino or sit down at the bar or sit down somewhere else, I would do that.
First of all, sit down in the casino, and I don't gamble, or sit down at a bar and I don't drink. So come on, man.
You don't eat either? Okay, thank you very much.
Eating takes less than an hour. Maybe a half hour.
You can take your time. But apparently you go, But let's move on. While Q gets his stuff together, I think, like I said, his ears got messed up when he dropped the earbuds out. Let's talk about it. Since there's a NFC North tandem on Sammy's team of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff. I think I have the better tandem, especially. And I love Jair Alexander. I love him.
What tandem do you
I
have?
really love Jair Alexander.
What tandem
But
do you
Jair
have?
Alexander opened his big mouth and said, he don't put his foot in his mouth. You know he did, Jerry. When he said that Justin Jefferson was a fluke when they played him.
Oh, yeah.
That he put his foot in.
He's asking for trouble, man.
Exactly. So my tandem of Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, I'll take that tandem over Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff. But going against a better defense is Justin Jefferson. Now, week 1 is week 1. And I believe Kirk threw for over 400 yards. Justin Jefferson had over 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. I hope that repeats itself. But we're later on in the season, and I don't know. But Green Bay's defense is beaten up. It really is. And the fact that Irv Smith was just activated to tag him with Hockenson. Now, Irv's going to be the blocker. But you can't escape the fact that Irv can still catch the ball.
Well,
that tells me that Dalvin Cook, they might be doing a lot of 11 personnel or 21 personnel.
I hope they do. I hope they do, because I expect – let me put it this way. Kirk Cousins in Minnesota is like gold. It's like gold, mining gold. Kirk Cousins in the cold weather on the road, I take Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown at home over Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson in Green Bay any day of the week. Any day of the week. Kirk hasn't proven to play in the cold on the road against a division rival.
What?
On the road, in the cold against a division rival. Kirk Cousins has to play against the Green Bay Packers.
So Kirk Cousins is 4-3-1 against Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
In that division. He's 5-3-1 overall.
Okay.
He beat him in Green Bay last year in the cold. So I don't know where you're getting this. He can't play in the cold business. Now,
let me put it this way. Every year is different, man. Every year is different.
You're right. You're right. Every year is different. And those years that he beat him in Green Bay, he didn't have the type of talent that he does now. And I believe the talent level is marketably better in Minnesota than it is in Green Bay. I say this to say, and Q, I don't know if you can hear us or not, but I'm going to take you off screen. Oh, wow. As soon as I take him off screen, I get this big from you. Anyway, there is a large contingent of people, I am one of them, who feels that Kirk Cousins is not that good of a quarterback under pressure. He's proven that. The problem is that Green Bay can't generate pressure, or not enough. Now, if they go 11 personnel or 21 personnel, I should say, 2 tight ends and 1 running back, that is a good sign that they are going to run the ball more. But that also tells me there's going to be a lot of play action, because Hockenson is a very good blocker, but he's more so a better receiving tight end than he is a blocker. Cook he's breaking off these tackles or breaking off these runs late in games. He's not dominating games. He's getting them in spurts. So when I see that take place, all right, Q's back. When I see that take place, I'm like, Jair Alexander opens his mouth. So that tells me they're going to probably double team Justin Jefferson to help Jair. But Jair's got that attitude like, no, I got him one-on-one. Might not be a good idea. Let me bring Q in and talk about it since you already gave your thoughts about what you would do. Hey, Q, I'm sorry, Q. You still talking?
No, I'm good. I had trouble with my earpiece thing, but I got it figured out.
Okay, too easy, brother. So the thought process is this, and I talked to Jerry about it when you went off air, and I'll bring it back up to you because that's the reason why I brought it up in the first place. Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins. Which pair would you rather have?
I would rather have Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins, just simply because of the head coach. The head coach is an offensive guru. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's the only reason I would rather have them too. And just because Amon St. Brown, he's still, proving himself.
Okay. All right. Now, to follow that up, who would you rather have this week?
This week? Tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I'd rather have Detroit because they're playing in the dome, and Green Bay is going to be cold.
No. I'm talking about the quarterback and receiver tandem.
Yeah, I'd rather have Jared Goff and Amon St. Brown tomorrow.
Thank you.
Tomorrow. But if you're talking about long term, of course I would go with Justin Jefferson. But for tomorrow, I mean, Green Bay, it's going to be cold, bro.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I just said the same thing and he disagreed, but that's okay. He can disagree.
I didn't disagree.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
You're just trying not to look at it that way because of what you got going on tomorrow. But if you were in our shoes, you would say the same thing.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Since the beginning of the season, I said I like Kirk Cousins, and he said he didn't like Kirk Cousins, and he just said before you came on, he doesn't like Kirk Cousins. You just said you didn't like Kirk Cousins. You just said that,
Jerry.
Not in this game, but overall, you didn't like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I've said that many times. That's not something new.
I didn't say it was new. I just said you said it that you didn't like Kirk Cousins. And I said because of this head coach and the offensive scheme that I love Minnesota Viking players. Absolutely. And I've been saying that for the longest.
I remember when the season started, I said Minnesota was going to win 12 to 13 games, bro. Just because I really like that head coach. Because he was the Sean McVay understudy, bro.
Yep.
He's an offensive guru.
And the fact is this. Kirk Cousins, it's ironic. It is ironic that Mr. FSP to you has as his starting quarterback going into the championship, Kirk Cousins. It's ironic because he said he didn't like Kirk Cousins, but he likes him now. Unless you don't like Kirk Cousins, why don't you play somebody else? You got Gardner Minshew. You got whoever else you bench.
Bottom feeder.
If you don't like
bottom feeder. Stay in your lane, bottom feeder.
This bottom feeder, it's ironic. This bottom feeder had the top feeder tell you about this quarterback and tell you about this offense before the season started.
Jerry, you act like I didn't know about the offensive coordinator.
But you didn't like the quarterback.
He came from Washington.
You did not like the quarterback. And you kept saying that. And you kept trying to replace that quarterback.
I want y'all to see something.
You kept trying to replace that quarterback.
Jerry loves to be a front man. He loves. I told you.
That did.
Dude, listen, I've known about the head coach. I've known about Kirk Cousins.
Did you?
I also knew that there was a possibility that Kirk Cousins was going to have a very good year. I don't believe Kirk Cousins is a prime-time quarterback, but he's proving me this season, one season, that he's either found it or he's able to turn it on this year. Because we can say the same thing with Baker. Baker had one solid year, and you were like, "Oh, I was wrong about Baker." But then, as soon as Baker went off the rails, "Oh, so he's a bum," and I'm like, "Dude,
you see who's shaking their head. You see who's shaking their head.
I'm not worried about him shaking his head. What I'm telling you is,
this
is what you do. You
see who's shaking their head.
I'm not saying Baker is a great quarterback. What I'm
yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did.
What I'm telling you is, this is what you do.
Come
you
on, man.
Run. And
He's not a good quarterback. He's not.
Oh God, Q.
Not a good quarterback. But that's okay.
This is what I deal with. This is what
I hate Baker Mayfield, bro. I think he trash.
Thank you. He is.
I'm not saying he isn't. What I'm saying is, in the comparison to what Jerry just tried to put on me, I said I don't like Kirk Cousins because he's not a primetime player. But for 1 year, this year, it looks like he's turned it around. I compared that to what happened with Baker. His first year, Baker was garbage. And then the second year,
garbage.
He was phenomenal. And Jerry was like, okay, I was wrong about it. But then as soon as Baker went back to, okay, well, something's wrong. He's terrible. And I'm like, dude.
He's terrible.
So next year, when Kirk Cousins regresses.
And next year, when Baker's the backup.
I'm not going to be like Jerry. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to be like Jerry and be like, oh, he's garbage.
As long as that coach,
who I said he was.
As long as that coach.
1 year was an outlier.
As long as
like that coach, 1 year for Baker was an outlier.
Wait a minute. Kirk Cousins has been putting up.
Kirk Cousins has not been consistent like this in ever. He has not been this. I ain't talking about his numbers.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. I don't know. Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. Wait a minute. Let me finish this. Kirk Cousins has been putting up consistent regular season numbers for a while, and that's a fact. He's been putting up regular season numbers for a.
He has not been an MVP type player ever. Until this year.
He hasn't been.
He's not even this year. This year he's not even MVP type numbers.
I was about to say that. I was just about to say that. He's not putting up MVP numbers, but he's been a very good quarterback for a while.
Now, he's a stat stuffer forever. That's all he is. A stat stuffer
does not equate to being a good quarterback. A stat stuffer means
you can't be a stat stuffer and not be good. What are you talking about? He's always been good. He's always been good. He's just not elite, bro. He's Derek Carr 2.0. Derek Carr 2.0.
I can say that. But here's the deal. How many times has Kirk Cousins taken his team to the playoffs? Washington and Minnesota. And then how many times has he won a game in the playoffs?
What did I just say? What did I just say? You didn't listen to what I said. You did not listen to what I said. I said Kirk Cousins is a very good regular season quarterback. That's what I said.
You didn't listen
to that.
You did not say regular season.
Yes, I did.
I just can't believe you, Vic. You've been trying to dump Kirk Cousins all year long.
Thank you.
And now you're like defending him like he's your favorite. Come on.
Q, you are right. I have been trying to dump him. And you know what? God said,
yeah, okay. Now he's the biggest hypocrite going. He's the biggest hypocrite going. The biggest hypocrite going. Come on, stop. Now I have a witness.
Remember that.
Now I have a witness to your hypocrisy. Now I have a witness. You said the same thing I said.
I never said Kirk Cousins was the bomb.
Oh, Stop!
You just said it 2 minutes ago.
Yes, you
That he
did.
was the boss. You said he's putting up MVP numbers.
No,
You said he's putting up MVP numbers. Come on, bro.
Stop.
I did not say Kirk Cousins was a very good quarterback.
Oh, come on, man. Oh,
You know what?
You funny. You funny, bro.
The next intro outro because apparently y'all are hearing impaired.
Oh, no. He got two sets of ears listening to this, and we said the same thing that you said, but you say no, I didn't say it. Come on, man, stop.
I said Kirk Cousins have a very good year. I said he's never been a primetime player. I never said Kirk Cousins was great. I said he's being considered for MVP type stuff.
No, he hasn't.
I also said that's because he's getting a lot of numbers at the end of games because he's trying to win those games.
But that's how he's been every year. That's why he's a stat stuffer because he's always training and he always got to pass.
But it doesn't make a difference because it's fantasy. Fantasy you don't worry about whether you get points in the beginning of the game. You worry about at the end of the game how much points.
We did not, or I, who's leading the discussion, did not classify this as fantasy versus reality. I said Kirk Cousins, period. Kirk Cousins, period, is not and like you said, Q, he's Derek Carr 2.0. He's good, but he's not great.
I tell you what, Kirk Cousins reminds me of.
Let's talk about the outcome because that's where I was leading until y'all tried to jump down my throat about Kirk, but it's okay. It's okay. In this game,
anybody jumping down the throat, we're just trying to clarify the hypocrisy that you're bringing about.
The type of leadership that people are heaping on him as okay, look, he's got a better record head-to-head versus Aaron Rodgers in his entire career. He's 5-3-1, looking to be 6-3-1. He's 4-3-1 in the division. So right now, it's a okay. I gotta be Aaron Rodgers ain't gotta be Kirk Cousins because Aaron Rodgers don't have the same type of talent Kirk Cousins has right now. I think Minnesota goes into Green Bay. I think it's a scrappy fight, and it's probably going to end up. I don't think it's going to be a repeat of Game 1. Game 1, did Green Bay get a touchdown in that game? I think they got one touchdown. No. They didn't?
No.
Yeah, I knew it was. They were like getting beat up pretty bad.
But that's a whole different team already.
I know.
Way different.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I'm saying that I don't think it's going to be that type of game. I think it's going to be a little closer, but I have Minnesota pulling it out by like anywhere from 7 to 10 points. I think Aaron Rodgers gets sacked 3 or 4 times. Q?
You just hoping for your fantasy. That's like you blinded. You blinded by tomorrow. That's why you can't look at the game correctly, bro. Come on.
Oh my God.
Hey, Minnesota is not gonna go 16-1, bro.
They're not 16. They're 12-3, bro.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're not gonna have first place in the NFC, bro. They're gonna lose again, and this is the game that they're gonna lose.
Philly only has 1 loss, so they're not gonna be first in it, and so it's no way that Minnesota can be the second.
You can't say there's no way because
of course they can. Philly can lose 2 games.
Yep, that's right.
True, but I mean, what does that 16-1 have to do with anything? Because they can't be 16.
Well, I was wrong with the 16-1, but I mean they're gonna lose 1 more game, one of the 2 games, Minnesota.
This game, I'm asking to pick this game, Q.
They're gonna lose tomorrow.
Woo!
They're gonna lose tomorrow. It's gonna be a close game, but they're gonna lose.
Why?
Why? Because Green Bay has more urgency, bro. They have more urgency, They're playing at home. Kirk Cousins is gonna play out in the cold. It's gonna be a close. It's gonna be a one possession game. But I still think Green Bay is gonna pull it out and win that game, bro.
Okay, Jerry.
I'm going along with Q. I think Green Bay wins this game. The over under is 47.5. Green Bay. Get this. Green Bay's playing at home. It's not even at 500. And the Minnesota Vikings are 12-3. And Green Bay is favored by 3 points. How is that possible?
It's the same thing happened with Detroit and somebody else, and they ended up.
I'm not talking about Detroit. I'm talking about Green Bay against Minnesota, and Green Bay's at home with a losing record.
Same thing. I
mean, it's not the same thing. It's a different game. It's a different game. I don't worry about that.
It's possible. That's the point.
Anything is possible.
I can pretty much guarantee you, Vic, if you had nothing writing on this game, that you would think that Green Bay would be winning this game.
Oh, no, I would not.
You're a liar, bro. You're lying. You're lying. Here comes the snake.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. I like let me put it this way. When they played Minnesota earlier in the year, they had a dysfunctional offense. Aaron Rodgers didn't have any wide receivers he could definitely trust. They were making mistakes with rookie mistakes. The offense now, and he knows what he has, and the rookie wide receivers know what they're supposed to do, have a better understanding of what they're supposed to do, and their offense is more functional than it was when they played the Minnesota Vikings in the beginning earlier in the season. Minnesota is still the same old Minnesota, okay, same offense. They knew what they had, and they exploited. They've been exploited against teams for most of the year. So you got a Green Bay offense that's better functioning than it was in the beginning of the season, playing at home, playing in the cold, which they do very well, playing a division rival.
Okay,
who the Minnesota Vikings need this game, but don't need this game as much as Green Bay. I like Green Bay in this game. There's no two ways around it.
All right.
So when the odds makers have it -3 Green Bay, and they're 6-8, and whatever they are, but they have a losing record and are going against a 12-3 team, and they're favored at home. Something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with that.
As I said, that was the same situation with Detroit and
it's not Detroit,
and Carolina, and Detroit. Well, anyway,
Detroit was on the road versus Carolina, pounding the heck out of them. Okay. Green Bay is at home.
The point is that can happen. Arizona at Atlanta is
Green Bay is 15-0 in December.
We're done with that. You already
Matt LaFleur is 15-0 in December.
Atlanta.
Big. If you had to bet all your money in the world in a close game for tomorrow, who would you put your money on? Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins?
For tomorrow's game, I'm picking Kirk Cousins.
Stop. Come on, man. We both he and I know better than that.
And Arizona. Now, Arizona's going to have Colt McCoy under center.
No. David Blau.
Colt McCoy is about to get cleared to start.
No, he's not playing tomorrow.
He's not playing tomorrow. He's out.
Oh, well.
David Blau.
All right. Well, I guess DeAndre Hopkins is not going to have a good game because the past couple weeks.
Hopkins may not play. He's dealing with knee issues. He may not play.
I know. So Atlanta does one thing good. Well, two things good. They run the ball effectively, and they seemingly know how to cover top wide receivers. Now, if Hop isn't playing, Marquise Brown is iffy. Greg Deutsch and my man Connor might be the only offense that the Arizona Cardinals have in that game. We all know that J.J. Watt said this is his final season. That was his last home game. He showed out against Tom Brady and them. They lost the game. But Desmond Ritter, can he find a connection with Drake London? Because that's the future. London and Ritter. And Pitts, once Pitts comes back. Tyler Algier is stepping up and looks like he's going to be the guy. Cordero Patterson is, he's there. He's got speed, but they're using him more outside as opposed to a pounder because Algier is handling the rock more. The defense is kind of nicked up on Atlanta. Kind of nicked up. But with David Blau starting, I actually like Blau when he was on Hard Knocks in Detroit, and then he went to Minnesota, and then I guess Arizona must have signed him off of Minnesota's practice squad. Blau can play. He makes mistakes, though. He makes mistakes. I got to go with Atlanta in this game, so JT, then Q.
All right, Atlanta. This is one of the most dysfunctional teams in the NFL. No doubt. Somebody's going to have to go. More than likely, the coaching staff. More than likely, the coaching staff is going. There's a lot of dysfunction in this organization.
Atlanta?
I'm talking about Arizona.
Well, you said Atlanta.
Well, my mistake. Arizona. Right. There's a lot of dysfunction in Arizona.
Yeah, you heard that, right, Q? I know I wasn't the only one that heard that.
Okay, no problem. I make mistakes just like you. Okay, no problem. I meant Arizona. If I said Atlanta, I meant Arizona. There's a lot of dysfunction in Arizona. A lot. The front office and the coaching staff. I don't know if they survived this year. I don't know if Bidwell is going to put up with what he saw, the dysfunction between the head coach and the starting quarterback, the diva starting quarterback.
He ain't been out there for 3 weeks.
It doesn't make a difference. He started the season, and it's been dysfunction ever since. So even though he hasn't been out there in a while, this dysfunction has been. So
you're blaming him for the past?
No. I'm blaming him for part of this. Yeah, the head coach and the quarterback are tied together.
I get what you're saying, but when you bring up Kyler Murray as being part of dysfunction at the beginning of the year, yeah, we get that. But for the past couple of weeks, Kyler Murray has not done anything. If you looked at Hard Knocks, it's not even focused on Kyler because Kyler's not part of the game plan.
Exactly. But I said this. I said this.
Got this Cardinals jersey on.
I said this organization has been dysfunctional. This organization has been dysfunctional, and it's been dysfunctional all year. Just because part of the dysfunction is gone doesn't eliminate the dysfunction. So I see Atlanta running. I see Atlanta running all over them. I don't even think this is a contest. I think these guys are making vacation plans already. I think they're mailing in. I mean, they got nothing to play for, and it's dysfunction in the organization, and they're playing with the fourth string quarterback. Come on, man. What defense or what offensive lineman or whatever is going to put their full effort out there? They may make it hard in the beginning of the game, but once Atlanta asserts and pulls ahead for whatever amount of points, like most teams that have an extremely bad record, they're going to mail it in.
So who are you picking?
I like Atlanta, man. I told you that. I like Atlanta.
No, what you told us a whole bunch of reasons why you didn't like Arizona, but okay.
It's obvious. It's obvious.
Q.
Hello?
This is going to be a boring game, but I like Atlanta. I think they're going to run for like over 250 yards on them. Wow. It's going to be a low-scoring game, but whatever. Honestly, I think Arizona messed up by giving Kyler Murray that contract extension when he still had 3 years left. and he suckered them into giving them an extension. Now they're going to be trash for like the next 5, 6 years
Yeah.
because they need help all over.
He threw
Offense, defense.
he threw a hissy fit,
I
and
agree with
that.
As far as
He threw a hissy fit,
hampering
and
the
they caved
team.
in.
Hampering the team is what that contract did, because it's 100 and like 3 or 108 million guaranteed out of the 200 and some change. But you got JJ Watt's contract expiring because he's going to retire. You got Buda Baker, who's going to come up on his contract, but he's got injured. But truthfully, he's probably the face of the organization. You just re-signed Connor, and you got to either pay Marquise Brown his money or trade Hopkins because he's going to be guaranteed too much money. So I can agree with that. But let's go to another team that has a similar situation. But they haven't tied their money up in their quarterback yet. It's been 11 practices straight that Lamar Jackson has not participated with the Baltimore Ravens. Was this the 4th game in a row that he's not going to play? Huntley is going to start against Pittsburgh. And believe it or not, Pittsburgh still has a chance. Now, do I think it's going to take a miracle for Tomlin to go 9-8? It's going to take a miracle. But it's possible because Baltimore, they're hosting Pittsburgh this week. Their run game is sketchy at best. Their pass game, really non-existent. The bank is open for everybody to steal some of the money, to be honest. Kenny Pickett, Pickens, even Deontay Johnson, who's gone the longest ever without a touchdown. Crazy. But that might change this week because he's going against one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. But Pickens, Johnson, Freiermuth, Najee's even looking a little decent. Believe it or not, I'm going to pick Pittsburgh to win by 10 at the bank. Yeah. Q, what you got?
I like Pittsburgh winning this game, but not by 10. I like them winning by a field goal. If that, I think this is going to be a 17-13 kind of game, But, I mean, Pittsburgh, I don't know. They're a year and a half away. Kenny Pickett's going to be good, but he's not good yet, And I think, but this is going to be an AFC showdown, It's going to be 17-13. I like Pittsburgh, though. I like Pittsburgh winning the game.
Right. Even though the Ravens are favored by 2 in this game, I like Pittsburgh. The Ravens have a decent run defense. Their pass defense stinks. Pittsburgh's got pass catchers. Pickens, Deontay Johnson, who's not a favorite of Pickens, and Pat Furman. Baltimore plays the run game pretty well. Like I said, doesn't have a very good pass defense. I like Pittsburgh in this game. And it's a close game. It's over-under is 36. 36.
Okay.
This will be a typical AFC North type of game.
I would say if Lamar was playing, but that begs the question. Lamar's going to get franchise tagged, I believe.
He should.
If he gets franchise tagged, gentlemen, should he get paid the amount of money he's asking for following the franchise tag? Q?
I think when he's healthy, he's a top 10 quarterback, but I don't think you can pay somebody that much money and when he hasn't proven to be able to win in the playoffs.
So the franchise tag is why I said after the franchise tag, right?
I wouldn't pay him. No. I wouldn't pay him. I would pay him right in the middle, but I wouldn't make him the top highest paid quarterback now. Not even a chance.
No way.
All right, Jake.
You know this, Vic. I'm not a big Lamar fan. He's not a good passer. He's a good passer, short. He's not a good passer, intermediate and long. And that's the problem. They can't have big chunk plays consistently because he's not a consistently good passer. All he does is run. He's limited. He's very limited. And when you get in the playoffs, if he gets a team into the playoffs, he's been exploited because of his limitations. You have better defenses and better teams that are going to scheme against the type of quarterback he is. And his ceiling, I think he's reached his ceiling. He's no better than
Kirk Cousins.
No. Kirk Cousins, in my opinion, is better than Lamar. Lamar does a lot more running, but
Kirk Cousins and Lamar Jackson, they're regular season quarterbacks.
Yes, exactly.
They're regular season quarterbacks.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, he's not a championship level quarterback. No way.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
I like Pittsburgh.
Okay. Two teams that have, I believe, championship quarterbacks. I also believe this is going to be the AFC championship game, where you have Buffalo going into Cincinnati. And check this out. Buffalo wins, they take over the first. If Cincinnati wins, they take over that number 1 seed. It's going to be rough out here. Oh, hold on for a pimp. Now, they close the season out. Cincinnati does with Baltimore, whereas Buffalo closes it out with, New England. Kansas City can still sneak up there and take that number 1 seed. They can still do it. But we're talking about, can this team run the ball effectively? Talking about Buffalo. And go into Cincinnati. It's the first time these two have ever met. It's hard to believe. This is Burrow's 3rd year, if I'm not mistaken. First year he got nicked up. Second year was last year, took him to the Super Bowl. This is his 3rd year. But first time these two have met. Won't be the last, in my opinion. They're going to see each other again in the the AFC Championship game, I believe. I look at Cincinnati. Joe Mixon has not been the world beater, but he's been effective. I look at Jamar Chase. He's heating up. If you know the NBA Jams term, he's on fire. I hope he don't get on fire tomorrow. I really hope he don't. But there's a chance he will. There's a chance. See, Jerry don't want me to win my division.
No, you're wrong about that. I could care less. I could care less.
Every time I bring up a player, I gotta go there.
Anyway, I think you have a very good chance of winning. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you got a very good chance.
We'll talk about it in a second. This is
going to be a competitive match.
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Extremely competitive. So,
but Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and Higgins. Higgins has been quiet, y'all. Higgins has been quiet. And I turn the page and look at Buffalo. Josh Allen isn't running as much, but he's still running. The person heating up over there is Mr. Cook. And I said early on in the year, especially when we were doing the draft, Cook might be a difference maker later on down the line. And he hasn't. They've gone to more Cook than Singletary. There's a good balance there, though. It's a good balance. But Cook seems to be that guy they're throwing the ball to a lot more. And he's getting some rushes as well. But then you look at Diggs. He's starting to throw temper tantrums when he's not getting the ball often and early.
Eva.
Hey, I'm not gonna fight you on that one. But Gabe Davis and McKenzie need to show up. They need to show up. Dawson Knox has been replacing them in the offense lately, getting more targets and getting in the end zone. If they have a chance at winning this game, Buffalo, and I like Buffalo, but I like Cincinnati a little bit more. I got to pick Cincinnati in this game because I don't think that the Buffalo Bills offense is, if Josh Allen is not running a lot, is capable of keeping up with the Cincinnati offense. Now, the defense of Buffalo, they gotta bring it. They gotta bring the pain. They gotta bring the pain. Burrow has not been sacked as often as he was in his first couple of years, but they gotta come after Burrow in this game. They have to. And the backside has got to continue to do what they're doing. I like number 7. I can't remember his name. I've had him on my team a few times. But if they run Joe Mixon at the strong safety, it's going to be a problem for Buffalo. I'm picking Cincinnati. Let's go with JT, then Q. Go ahead.
All right, the game is 50 points and under. Buffalo is favored by 1.5 going into Cincinnati. Buffalo is 7-7-1 against the spread. Cincinnati is 12-3 against the spread. This is a quarterback game. Plain and simple. Quarterback game. Whatever better quarterback plays, quite naturally, you're going to win the game. I'm going with Cincinnati in this game. I'm going with Cincinnati in this game.
I love Cincinnati. I love their whole team. I think they're strong. Defense, offense, special teams. I think, unlike you, I think it's going to be Cincinnati and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game because I just think Buffalo is too dependent on Josh Allen. In the playoffs, he might get hurt taking one of those big shots because he runs too much for a quarterback, you know? And so, but I like Cincinnati at home. I think Joe Burrow, he always plays huge in big games, especially when everybody is talking about the other quarterback. Ooh, that boy comes up good. You know, I used to hate him coming out of college, but man, slowly, he's been like, you know, I like him now. I think he's top 3 quarterback.
Quiet assassin is Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
A quiet assassin.
He's surgical with the ball. He's cerebral. But we're going to talk about an assassin. Since we're talking about assassin, let's talk about old Ronin, a really old Ronin, who in effect is playing for a title this week. He might be playing for that title again next week. But Carolina goes to Tampa Bay, and the old Ronin is Tom Brady. Now, Carolina has been leaning on the run game heavy, protecting Sam Darnold, and DJ Moore has been doing pretty well. And, you know, it's funny how the running attack seemingly is the problem that Tampa's defense faces lately. It might be a recipe for disaster because the offense just doesn't want to catch the ball and they can't run the ball. But something's got to click here. Now, the defense has already come out. A couple of defensive players have gone on record and said they want Wilks as their head coach next year.
Yep.
I will say this. Of the 2 interim head coaches that are in the NFL right now, one actually deserves it. The other doesn't. We'll talk about the one that doesn't deserve it. But I believe Wilks checks the block for the type of team Carolina has to be. What this also does, in my opinion, you don't have to get rid of Sam Darnold.
Nope.
You draft a quarterback and have him study under Sam and then replace Sam. But you keep that dual-headed monster in Foreman and Chuba Hubbard. And you get another receiver out there because the defense is already good. But the question is this: can Tampa Bay fix themselves? I don't know what's going on with Tom Brady and Mike Evans. It's like, and I was thinking about this when I saw the game last week. If you remember last season with Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf, for whatever reason, Russell was not throwing the ball to DK. For whatever reason. For whatever reason, it's taking Tom Brady to the second half to start throwing the ball to Mike Evans. And when he's throwing it to him, it's not always a good pass.
Yeah.
It's behind him, it's below, it's up here. And Mike Evans is like, I'm not risking my body to get those balls. At least that's what I see. But for whatever reason, Tampa Bay has 2 chances to win their division. Week 1, or the first time is this week versus Carolina. Excuse me. Versus Carolina. I think Tampa wins it. I think it's a close game, but I got Tampa winning, Carolina losing, starting over for next year. We're going to go Q, then JT.
This is a very conflicting game for me because my logic and everything says that Tampa Bay is going to win this game, but I really, really, really like Carolina Panthers. And I think they're such a gritty team that they're going to give Tampa Bay all they can handle, but it's just like at the end, if Tom Brady has the ball with the last drive, I think he's going to pull through and win that game. But I see it as a very close game, but I'm going to go with Tampa. But I really like the Panthers in this game, but I can't bet against Tom Brady if he has the ball last.
Well, in my opinion, it's a matter of a consistent running game, a consistent offense. You know what you're going to get versus an inconsistent offense in Tampa Bay. You know what you're going to get in Carolina. They're going to run the football, and just like Trevor Lawrence seemed like he woke up a few games ago, seemed like Sam Darnold when he sat and looked and was able to see what was going on before he got his first start. He realized what was going on. He's been playing better. I'm going with Carolina because I can't trust Tampa Bay's offense. You don't know what you're going to get. And this is division rival. They don't like each other. And the fact is, they're going to pound the football and take shots with DJ Moore and Therese Marshall. I like Carolina. I'm very confident in Carolina.
Who's
because
Therese
very
Marshall?
easily the offense in Tampa Bay can go south, including Tom Brady. Very easily. Everybody's seen it. It can go south in a heartbeat. They can play well in the beginning of a game, and the second half of the game, you see it, they're a hot mess. Turnovers to lose the game. I'm taking Carolina.
All right. Well, while you were saying that, Hopkins was just downgraded to out.
Oh, don't tell me that. Really? Okay.
Yep.
No problem.
He was just downgraded to out.
No problem.
So, with that being the case, I'm making a couple of changes right now. So hopefully
It is what it is. It is what it is. I have Hopkins on a team that I'm playing for some nice money, even in third place, and that's just another cake in my armor.
Well, you got plenty of them. You got plenty of them. So you got plenty of them.
Well, whatever. What we won in Vegas, I'm playing for third place.
I know.
Yeah. So.
All right. So with that being the case, Washington host your Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
Now, everybody that I've seen, all the analysts, have downgraded every Cleveland offensive player.
Yep.
They're saying sit Watson, sit Chubb, sit Njoku, sit the kicker, sit the defense. And I'm like, Carson Wentz ain't that big of a deal. And I'm a Washington Commander fan. But on the road, Cleveland is not that good. They're not that good. And Washington is pretty good against the run. So unless Deshaun Watson's running around for his life and doing a lot of RPOs, this might be the situation. Amari Cooper with Dallas, he was pretty good versus Washington, but Nobody's seemingly catching the ball from Watson. I don't know if he's throwing it too hard. He's throwing a couple dirt balls. I have seen that. There's been a lot of dirt balls thrown. But I need to know what's going on here, JT. You know I'm picking the Commanders, even though Carson.
I'm picking the Browns, and the defense of the Cleveland Browns hasn't allowed more than 14 points since week 12. Hasn't allowed more than 15 points. I say 15 points since week 12. Okay. And Washington hasn't scored more than.
We've averaged 22 points a game all season.
Not the last three.
Thank you.
I said all season.
Not the last three. Yeah. So you can go all season if you want. But the closer games to this counts. Now you got Carson Wentz. I'm taking and Washington's favored by only two. Only favored by 2 points, and the over/under is 41 points. I'm taking the Browns in this game.
Homer.
Amari Cooper knows the Washington scheme.
All right, Q.
He knows the Washington scheme. I'm thinking Amari's going to have a good game. I'm taking.
Q's turn.
That's all right. He can take whoever he wants. I'm
I know, but you're talking over him. He's supposed to be talking right now.
Wait a minute. Didn't you give it to me first?
And I said, okay, Q, you're up. That's what I said. After you
made it. Wait a minute. You gave it to me. You're going to cut me off.
Jerry, you're not talking over me because I haven't even said a word.
Okay. Thank you.
Q. Okay. Well, I'm giving the ball to Q.
Go ahead, Q.
Go ahead. Y'all not gonna tag team on me, bro.
Hey, I like both these defenses a lot. I love the defensive line for both teams. I love Chase Young coming back for Washington, but I also love Cleveland's defense, but I think that Cleveland has to keep working. This is their preseason for next year with Deshaun Watson. So I think they're going to play everybody, keep playing everybody, and try to be the best. And I like Cleveland winning this game outright.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't trust Carson Wentz at all.
I don't either. But right now he's what we're going. And I believe that Ron is going to pull Carson quickly if he starts messing up. But
but he had been putting quarterbacks left and right too much this whole year. He got no consistency, bro.
I know. That's why.
What the heck
If
was
we
that?
get eliminated, I believe Sam Howell is going to be the quarterback next week if we get eliminated. But we should win this game. Moving on. Speaking of games.
You made no strong points to back up that last thing right there. I wish you win this game.
If both these quarterbacks struggle, Sam Howell will be the quarterback next week. That's all. So the Denver Broncos fire their head coach at the day after Christmas. So Monday. They already paid Russell. So Russell's here. And the whole thing was Russell has his private office. Russell gets to bring his family and entourage on away games. Jerry Jeudy came out and confirmed that yes, Russell does have his private office at Broncos headquarters, but he says he's never met somebody to be so diligent about the game than Russell Wilson. Now, I believe that was shade. That was a backhanded compliment. That's just me. He the only one that got a damn office, but he's also very in tune with the game. But it cost Denver, the head coach, who we all thought after game one was over his head. And as the season progressed, it was proven that he was over his head. Ownership said, nah, you're done. Goodbye. So long. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye. But that doesn't change the destiny of Denver. They play Kansas City close. It's in Kansas City, so the weather, it could be whatever. Kansas City has wrapped up the AFC West. They have an outside shot chance of getting the number 1 seed. So I don't think they're going to sleep and put Mahomes on the bench just yet. But I'm interested in the fact that McKinnison and Pacheco is a really good 1-2 punch for Kansas City, that the receivers have not been that big of a liability. MVS, inconsistent. Juju, inconsistent. Travis Kelce, is the only thing that's been consistent on that team offensively outside of Pat. Wide receiver-wise, Kadarius Toney, inconsistent because he's not healthy. But what do you do against a team that literally is down in the dumps and has nothing to lose? Randy Gregory already got fined. I don't know if he got suspended, but he got fined for his behavior after the game. So I'm not sure if he's going to start this game or if he's going to be off this game or not. But Denver is I don't know. They're that person that says, I ain't going to act up. Oh, really? I got nothing to lose. Now I'm going to act up. I think this is a trap game for Kansas City. I really do. I'm going to pick Kansas City, but I think it's a trap game because Denver has nothing to lose. All right, Q and JT.
I think Kansas City took Denver lightly last time they played them because that's when they were really, really struggling, and that's why they went up to Denver and they thought they were going to whoop on them. And, they took it easy, and it ended up beating like a one-possession game, like in the fourth quarter. So I think this time Kansas City's going to come out. They're just going to slither their throat, and it's going to be all over before halftime. It's going to be a blowout game for me.
I have to agree with you. I think Kansas City is not going to show any mercy here. There's one thing I want to say about Denver. Watch Russell Wilson throwing to Jerry Jeudy.
What?
Watch Russell Wilson throwing to Jerry Jeudy, and he doesn't get the ball. Jeudy,
we've seen how his antics have been.
Yeah. He's a truly diva type of wide receiver, and that can wear a lot in that relationship between the quarterback and the wide receiver. And that's part of the dysfunction that they have right now. Even if they replace the head coach, it's still a lot of dysfunction, especially with, and I think resentment towards the starting quarterback and his commitment to the team. So I'm thinking Kansas City is going to win this easy. It's 45 is the over and under. They're favored by 12.5 points. And the Denver Broncos, this is telling here, the Denver Broncos are 1-7 away. And Kansas City is 6-1 at home. And Denver is 6-0. That's not right. 6-9 against the spread versus Kansas City is 5-9-1 against the spread. But this team can't score points. 16 points is one of the lowest scoring offenses in the league versus Kansas City. It scores over almost 30 points. What are you going to get? A disaster in Denver? Are you going to get a 51 or whatever? That's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to blow them out.
Okay. Let's move on. Your former team, Houston, hosts Jacksonville. I know you're wondering which former team I was talking about, but
no, I don't care. I could care less.
Houston,
you're the only one that brings it up, but that's okay. No.
Can Houston upset the apple cart? Here's the deal: Jacksonville holds the 4th seed right now in the AFC South. They play Tennessee next week. But if Houston beats Jacksonville, does that upset the matrix of it all? Because if Jacksonville beats Houston, they have a 1.5 game lead over Tennessee, and it really won't matter if Tennessee wins or not next week because that half game goes to Jacksonville. But let's be honest, Houston is going nowhere fast. Nowhere fast. Has Trevor Lawrence really gotten over the hump of year number 2? I don't know. He has spread the ball around rather nicely. Ingram's become a viable option. Kirk, as of late, Zay Jones, who knew? Travis Etienne isn't being explosive as he was in the middle of the season, but I mean, that's play call, right? An offensive line lost a big part of their muscle. I think it was the right tackle or the left guard, one or the other. I know Brandon Sheriff is still there, so he's one of the captains, and he's a big body to run behind. I guess I'll ask you this, Jerry. I'm gonna pick Jacksonville, but does Houston have enough to pull off an upset in this game?
I've always said this, and it's been proven true with Kansas City, and they played Dallas. I think it's Dallas close. Playing in Houston. Houston always plays better at home. Always plays better at home. Now, I'm not saying, and this is Jacksonville. And I'm going to go with Jacksonville first. Jacksonville has, next week, play Tennessee for the division title. So what's that telling you this week? Trap game. This is a trap game. This is a trap game. Because they're looking next week. It doesn't make a difference what they do this week. They play next week. They play Tennessee. They win. They win the AFC South. Tennessee wins. They play the AFC South. Tennessee already lost to Dallas. Now Jacksonville has to win this, but then they don't know they have to play Tennessee next week. This is a classic example, in my opinion, of a trap game. I'm going for an upset. Not because it's my former team, but because I know this team plays better at home and has proven it. I'm going with Houston in this game.
Q.
I don't believe it's a trap game. I really like Jacksonville. I think that coach has them playing the way that they need to play, and I think they're going to keep playing that way because they don't want to let down. You know, they want to keep playing great football that they're playing right now for next week's showdown. So I think Jacksonville's going to win this game.
Okay. Just to let you know, your screen is frozen, but we still have your audio. So you can still roll like that if you would like. Next game up. And I'm calling it here. First of all, I think Jeff Saturday is not the best interim coach that the Colts could have gotten. Oh, now you're unfrozen. But I do think the strategy that Indianapolis uses is just enough to beat this Giants team that is on a roll. I think it's an upset. I just think it's an upset.
We're both doing the same thing, shaking our head.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I believe it's an upset waiting to happen in New York. I don't like Nick Foles. I'll be honest with you. I don't like a lot of what Indy has, but I do like the defense of Indianapolis versus this offense. Isaiah Hodgins, couple years in Buffalo, obscure, coming to the Giants with Dayball, and bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. He's the realest G in the room. But Slayton hasn't been the guy. Barkley hasn't been the guy the past couple weeks. Now, I'll say this. Playing Washington twice in 3 weeks, a tie and a win in one. They have not impressed me. The Giants have not impressed me to the point that I believe they're going to lock in the 6th seed this week versus Indy. I think Indianapolis comes in. They run Zach Moss. They run Deion Jackson, but it's apparent that Moss is the favorite of the running of the coaching staff because he got more totes and was more effective.
You see,
You're putting us through misery right now, bro. You're putting us through misery. You're just trying to find something good to say.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Horrible.
But Zach Moss is the guy that they've chosen to run the ball with more so.
Zach Moss is horrible.
I don't care, but that's not what they're doing. Look, they're running Zach. That's what they're doing.
Zach Moss is horrible.
I think that's what happened in this game. Indianapolis wins.
What are you looking at? You are the person that doesn't know running backs. You don't know running backs. Yeah. Zach Moss is horrible.
Listen to me. You can say he's horrible all day, but that doesn't escape the fact that they're running him and not Jackson. That has nothing to do with me. So you're the one that got to stick up your ass.
Wait a minute. I'm not calling any names. What's up there? What's up with that? You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? I'm making a point, and he's talking about sticking somebody up his ass. What? What? You understand what I'm going through with this guy. He only reversed to this foul stuff. Already to this foul stuff. Come on, man. Stop it.
Talk me about knowing running backs when I'm not the one that said Zach.
Look, did I say I was going to stick something up someone's butt? No. No.
You attacked me, so therefore I attacked you back.
You attacked me.
You can't justify that. No way.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. No, you can't. You're a bad judger of running backs. I'm telling you straight up, you are. You've been a bad judge of running backs for so long, and you look. I don't know why. Let me pacify you here, okay? I don't know wide receivers that well. I admit it. I don't know wide receivers that well. I don't know tight ends that well. I admit that. You cannot admit that you don't know running backs that well.
Jerry, what does it have to do with Jeff Saturday?
He's horrible. Zach Moss is horrible.
What do I have to do with Jeff Saturday?
Zach Moss is horrible.
But what does that have to do with me? I'm not the one starting him.
You like Zach Moss.
Oh, because I like him, it's my fault. Well, let me
Zach Moss. So
Deshaun Watson sucks.
Because you're gonna.
But I'm not saying
you're gonna pump up. You're gonna pump up a play that you like.
No, I didn't talk him up. I didn't talk him up at all. I just asked you the question. I don't like talk up Zach Moss. I didn't talk him up at all.
I don't like Zach Moss. Zach Moss is the plotter compared to Deion Jackson, who is closer to Jonathan Taylor-esque than Zach Moss.
What does that have to do with me, though? That's the question. What does that have to do with me? Why did you attack me?
I'm not attacking you.
You did. You said
you
don't know running back. I'm like, what the hell I got to do with it?
You don't know running backs.
What does that have to do with the? Never mind.
You don't know what.
Okay, Q, you're up because I'm not even gonna listen to this. I'm not even gonna listen.
I like the Giants. I like the Giants in this game.
Like the Giants. Go ahead, Q.
Like every point you made, Vic, and this for this game was like totally absurd, and you're like reaching.
I admit I was reaching, but
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say I liked a certain player.
Okay, but anyway, look, the Giants. There's no way. There's no way that the Colts are gonna play horrible at home and go on the road to New York and all of a sudden play good, bro. It's like, come on. No, man. I mean, come on. Like, I don't even like Daniel Jones, but even against this team, Daniel Jones is going to do enough to get the victory. And the Giants' defense is so great too, bro. They have a great defense, so they're gonna come on. They're gonna make Nick Foles wish he stayed retired. You know, and like.
Let's move on. Since you like them, it's fine. Since we're talking about teams that the Colts have gone on the road and beat and had good defenses, let's talk about the Raiders. How they got their head coach.
He didn't like what you said. That's why you want to move on.
That the Raiders are playing San Francisco.
Oh,
now,
man.
Yeah, I know. I know Jerry had a question for you as it pertains to the Raiders.
Yes,
so I'm going to ask it when I open it up to him. But I don't get it. This guy comes into Denver and understandably, he has Tim Tebow. Can't fix Tim Tebow. Got it. And he runs Willis McGahee into the ground. Champ Bailey and them, they win with defense. Got it. Derek Carr gets drafted and plays okay, but then, John Gruden comes in and is like, well, I need a new quarterback. It's reported and confirmed that Tom Brady was already headed to Vegas with Gronk, but Gruden said, no, I'm not trading away Derek. Derek picks up the offense and excels in it last year. Gets a new head coach. Learning curve starts over again. It looks like, I'm not saying it is, but it looks like they are reserving Derek Carr so he does not get hurt, because then they'll owe him a lot of money next year if he gets hurt prior to whatever date. Looks like they're going to move away from him. They're starting Stidham. San Francisco don't even have to play half the game. I would sit half my starters by halftime if I'm San Francisco, if not sooner. Now, the defense of the Raiders is not that good, but it's good enough. But their offense can't make it up. I don't think their offense is going to be able to make it up. I got to pick San Francisco to win this game. But Q, what is going on? Your head coach, I know you don't like him. I know you don't like Derek. So I'm going to preface the conversation with that. You don't like Derek. But what's going on with your team, and why is Derek getting treated like this?
Well, me personally, I think everything that he's getting, he deserves. Because listen, he's been with us for 9 years. Okay, 9 years. I don't care how many coaches you have to go through, whatever. You're a professional quarterback, man, and you haven't even made it to the playoffs in 9 years. I mean, like, it's okay. He's, like I said, he's Kirk Cousins. He's a regular season kind of guy, right? But when push comes to shove, he has like jittery feet. He throws so many interceptions. Like, there's only so much. How much more time do you need to give the guy? He's been with the team 9 years, and he can't even take you to a playoff game. I get it that he's been through coaches and coaches and coaches, but still, at some point, you know how to play football. You gotta go out on the football field and produce. He's always had good offensive players. So
that's one I was going to make. but the defense has never been that good. The highest ranked defense that's been there since Derek Carr's been quarterback is 18. 18. I
Yeah,
believe.
but you don't have to have a top defense. You just gotta have a middle of the pack defense, whatever. I know they're always at the bottom end, but there's been so many games that the defense has played well enough to keep him in the game, and he's had the ball on the last drive and stuff and everything, and he just doesn't come through. He's just not clutch, man. He's not like I would not trust him like in a playoff game. But he proved it last year when he went to the playoff game. He couldn't against Cincinnati. It's like I don't even feel bad for the guy. Either way, he's gonna walk away with like $40 million. So he could be sad all he want. It doesn't matter. Like it's a business. And if you don't produce, you gotta go. I don't even like Josh. I don't even like Josh McDaniels that much. But he's a good offensive play caller. That's about it. But I don't think he was ready to be a head coach again. But it is what it is. They're just gonna start all over. And this game tomorrow, like I know everybody's saying San Francisco is gonna blow them out, and I'm not even being a homer, bro. But Jarrett Stidham, he knows that Josh McDaniels system in and out. He knows it way better than Derek Carr. He was with the Patriots and everything, and I think San Francisco is gonna win this game. But honestly, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be like a maybe 8 to 10 point game. But I still think the Raiders just needed to go a different way because you've been doing this 9 years with the same quarterback over and over and over and over, and you keep getting the same results, same results. Like I mean, I get it. He's gonna be a good quarterback wherever he goes. He's in the middle of the pack. He's a middle of the pack quarterback, but he's just I was so over him. I'm ready for him to go.
Okay.
All right, Q. I got to ask questions. Well, let me say this first. If they get rid of him before whatever in March, they take a $5 million hit. That's the only hit they take. They take $5 million hit on a cap, not an astronomical amount. Is he a starting quarterback?
They got to cut him 3 days after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Is he a starting quarterback or a backup quarterback somewhere else?
Oh, he's a starting quarterback because there's so many bad quarterbacks out there.
Okay.
Like the Jets, the Colts. The Jets, the Colts. They need a quarterback. He might even be a good quarterback in Carolina. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback, but he's serviceable. He's good enough.
Okay.
He's like Kirk Cousins. Like I said, Kirk Cousins. Him and him, to me, they're the same.
Ooh, really? I don't know
Yeah.
about that, but okay. All right. I like, quite naturally, San Fran, man. There's no two ways about it. I think they're going to roll in this game. They're going to win. Let me put it that way.
All right, so now let's go to the Battle of LA. Rams and Chargers. Mr. Bosa is set to return. And I know what's going to come out of the mouth of Jerry Taylor. I already know. But I'm going to give him an opportunity. And I know you're going to jump on 2Q to badmouth the quarterback of the Rams.
I'm not
All I can say is this. And Jerry told me earlier this week to keep an eye out on Austin Eckler's health. He's questionable. So for you fantasy owners out there, if Austin Eckler, who probably is your number one player taken on your team, if he's got a chance of not playing and going down or possibly getting injured, against the Rams is not where they're going to play him. I don't think you risk your bell cow running back in a game that means nothing, especially when you've already wrapped up a playoff spot against a team that's just coming to get their paycheck, earn their paycheck. The Rams, they've been competitive. They've won a couple games. But I'll put it this way. I think you're going to see a few turnovers by Mr. Mayfield. I think the secondary and the defense with Bosa back of the Chargers is pretty intimidating. Pretty intimidating. And when you don't have top tier talent out there at wide receiver, I'm not saying Jefferson or Atwell can't get there, but they're not there now. It's a problem. But also a player that seemingly is fighting for a job somewhere else because he's not going to remain in LA. Cam Akers, he's come on hot as of late. A lot of people are saying he's a start, just like a lot of people are saying Jared Goff is a start this week. There's a problem with the Chargers' run defense. Cam Akers has been eating them up. I'm not saying he's going to do that this game. I'm not saying that. But I do believe the Chargers win this game. Hopefully Mike Williams can make it through a whole game and not get injured. But we'll see. JT, then the man from LA.
Okay. All right. You got to look at, and I'm not going to bash. I'm not going to bash the Rams starting quarterback, but
Baker.
But you got to look at the last three opponents that they played. They've won two of the three games. The last game they played against Denver is probably the most impressive. Let me put it that way, because that's a legit defense. The other two games, the Packers and the Raiders, I hate to say it, Q, were suspect defenses. You're playing in LA, and this is probably one of the better teams that has a combination of a decent defense and a really good quarterback. And this is probably one of the better tests that Baker Mayfield is going to have and the Rams are going to have on if they want to beat the other LA team or not. I have to go with the Chargers because I do like the quarterback a lot. And I like the offense a lot. And I do believe that they're going to have a new head coach next season. I do believe that.
Who, the Chargers?
Yeah. I do believe they're going to have a new head coach. Even though they go to the playoffs, Marty Schottenheimer was a coach that could only take a team to a certain level. That's what I see in the Chargers. They have a head coach right now that only can take a team to a certain level. Anyway, I like the Chargers in this game. This is a big test for Baker and the LA Rams. And I was completely wrong about Cam Akers. Coming off an Achilles.
Hold on.
Wait. Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt. Can I finish? Can I finish? You can say whatever you want after I finish.
This is amazing. You know, you like to talk over people, but that
no, so you don't. Anyway, I was completely wrong about Cam Akers. It seems that coming off an Achilles injury, I was right about him up until I think week 12, week 11, something like that, when he started to come on. And that's the reason why they didn't get rid of him, and the reason they were having dysfunction and going back and forth whether they were going to get rid of him or not, just before the trade deadline. Anyway, Cam Akers has been what he was.
No.
Yes, Cam Akers has been what the Rams expected him to be last year prior to getting injured. Seems like he's made a very good recovery. His rehab, whatever they did to bring him back to where he's at now, has paid off because he is a true bell cow running back for this team. I like the Chargers in this game.
Okay, real quick, Q, before you talk. Hey, Tony, where you at, man? Where you at, man? You said they wouldn't get 7 wins.
Respect JT. Respect JT.
No, forget that.
Yeah, you of course you're going to forget that. That's all right.
Ed, And
I keep it
we said
100.
they wouldn't
I
make the
keep it
playoffs.
100.
Now, we might not make the playoffs, but we're in the hunt for the playoffs.
I
And that's
keep it
your
100.
team. That's your team, Tony. All
I
right,
keep
go ahead.
I keep it 100.
I don't
Oh,
know if you guys. I don't know if you guys been paying close attention to the last 3 weeks, but that Charger defense has been playing lights out.
Pretty good.
Okay, lights out, and they're rounding into form. I think this is going to be one of the most dangerous teams going into the playoffs. They're finally getting healthy, bro. And it sucks to say because I hate the Chargers, but I love Justin Herbert, bro.
yeah.
I love Justin Herbert. I would love him to be my quarterback for my team. But
Okay.
anyways, I think the Chargers are legit, bro. I think they're legit, and that defense is playing lights out right now. I think Baker Mayfield is gonna get sacked like 5 times. And there's gonna be easy win for me for the. I'm taking the Chargers.
All right, let's go on to the next game, which happens to be. It's unfortunate that Tua. It doesn't look like Tua's going to play the rest of the regular season. Tua, he's waiting for some win. He's waiting for your. He's waiting for your. Oh, hey, Q, he waiting for him, but he ain't gonna play him.
Hey, it's a new year, man. Tomorrow is the new year.
Yeah, okay.
Tomorrow is the new year.
Tomorrow's the new year.
Hey, Tony agrees with you, JT. He says Chargers will have a coaching change as the organization won't want to waste Herbert's early years.
I really think Sean Payton's coming.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Staff together.
Yeah.
That's what they need to get to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
A better head coach. That's it. Other than that, their team is complete, bro.
I said that 3 weeks ago. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, stop patting yourself on the back. You're gonna get bruises.
No, I said,
All right.
I got a lot of bruises back there already.
I'm about to take this. Shank. All right. So as I was getting to, it's unfortunate that Tua Tagovailoa has gone through what he's gone through.
That's crazy, man.
With concussions, right? Oh, Peyton's going to Dallas. Oh, that's
Hell no.
But my point is with this Tua thing is he might not play the rest of the regular season.
Oh no, he's out, man.
And that means Teddy Bridgewater has to make sure that this team stays in the playoff hunt, which he can do. He's very serviceable. But Miami has not been running the ball. My mother keeps calling me, guys. I'm gonna let y'all talk about this game. Miami and New England. I got to take this from my mom. Something must be up. But I'm picking Miami.
All right. Hey, well, go ahead, Q.
Yeah, Mom, I'm doing the show.
Go ahead, Jerry, run it. What you want me to say? What you want me to talk about?
Miami and the Dolphins.
Oh man, I think Tua shouldn't even play no more this year, bro. Like that guy's gonna get seriously hurt, man. Like he's not even thinking about his future. He's just thinking about now. And you know what sucks? It's all them people in Miami, bro. They know it. They knew he had a concussion. They know all that stuff. And then they don't really care, you know? And then when they have to go face the reporters and stuff, they always say, oh my God, this and this and that. It's not true because they really care for that guy. They wouldn't even put him out there. But anyways, that being said, I still think that Miami's defense is good enough to hold them in the game, and I think they just do enough to get over the hump and beat the Patriots. I don't like Daniel. I don't like the other Jones quarterback.
Okay, well, the over and under for the game is 41. Miami is the underdog. Patriots are favored by 2.5. Patriots are 7-1 against the spread versus Miami is 7-8 against the spread. Right now, so you know Miami's record is 8-7, and the Patriots is 7-8. Miami's 3-5 on the road, and Patriots are 3-4 on the road. This is a pretty even team. I'm taking the Patriots. Teddy Bridgewater ain't the one. He's Captain Checkdown. Okay, And I think that they need to stress the field on Miami's pass defense. Besides running the football, which they can do against this Miami defense, I like the Patriots. Okay, Vic.
Well, okay, with that, you call him Bridgewater, Teddy Checkdown, or whatever you called him. That's what they need, because you have two of the fastest receivers in the NFL, and they can take a slant to the house, and they've done that repeatedly all year. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a perfect person to come in and guide this team and not derail the team. Will he make the big splash? I think he actually has a bigger arm than Tua. I really do. Now, does he use it all the time? No.
He takes less chances.
Yeah, he takes less chances, but that doesn't mean he can't go deeper. Now, Miami's been struggling to run the ball lately. I can't answer that. They're holding on to that last playoff spot. They are holding on to it. I think they're going to beat New England and, lock in that last spot. I think all the AFC teams are done, especially after they beat the Patriots. The Patriots are eliminated from contention. If the Jets, who we haven't talked about yet, who play Seattle, because that's a big game for both teams, if they lose, they're out of it. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going with Miami. Philly goes to New Orleans.
Do we need to talk about this game?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Tony keeps making comments. Tony needs to call in and come back on the show. But I understand. You got other things with the baby and all that stuff. We almost got the crew back together, Jerry. 3 people ganging up against me. Almost. But I know how to treat y'all.
I ain't hanging up about you on you, bro. I just telling you the truth.
Whatever. I know how to find. Yeah, I do. But I don't know when you're available. That's the thing. I don't know when you're available, bro.
Apparently he's available now because he keeps texting you.
Well, I'll let him keep texting because he's watching.
Okay.
But we're almost done anyway. We got like 3 or 4 games left. New Orleans goes to Philadelphia. Now, Gardner Minshew, listen to me. New Orleans could be a trap game.
No.
Say no?
You see me?
No.
No.
I said I believe it could be a trap game.
No.
I believe it could be a trap game because you're expecting nothing from New Orleans. And when you're expecting nothing from a team, you go out there and you play a little lackadaisical. Do I expect Gardner Minshew to throw for 300 yards in this game? Could. I don't see it happening, but he could. Also believe that Alvin Kamara, dude, you're a second-round running back to me now. Second, third-round running back. We got him in the second round, didn't we? We got him in the second round. He's probably a third, a fourth-round runner, especially we don't know what his legal situation is going to be after this season. So he might go to jail. He might not. I don't want to put that in the air. You put that negative juju in it. We're going to start a
video. He's going to jail.
I haven't seen the video. So he literally was a part of that?
He's going to jail.
So allegedly,
if the trial is before the season, he's going to jail.
Allegedly, Alvin Kamara took part in that event, and allegedly,
IMO, he's going to jail.
What? I don't even know what's going on. What did he do?
So
he stopped it. You know what? At somebody in Vegas during the Pro Bowl.
So during last year's Pro Bowl, and I was wondering why he was wearing a jacket during the proceedings, but just before they went live and did all the skills events, he and his buddies apparently, allegedly,
it's on film.
Oh, Jesus. You got to say allegedly until he's convicted.
In my opinion, in my opinion, my man is going to be. In my opinion,
he and his friends stomped on and beat up a guy just for heading out to the skills competition in Vegas last year. Literally, just before going out to the skills competition.
Unmercifully.
Yes. Allegedly. But anyway, he needs to do something this week for those fantasy players that got him. And we're still in it. We haven't given the people an update on our move in the other league. We came in second in our league.
Wait a minute. I have a disagreement, and I know we're doing this, but I have a disagreement in the lineup that you put in.
First of all, let's get through these games. Then we can do that.
Okay, no problem.
And secondly,
I have a disagreement.
Okay,
doesn't mean you have to change it. I know. Disagree.
But, okay, that's fine. So, I guess we're all on Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. They have to win this game. They don't want to go.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't want to go into the last week and have them to win a game. And they must win this game. This is the must game.
And if they win this game, it doesn't matter what Dallas does next week.
They're gonna win this. They're gonna do everything they can to win this game. That way, they're gonna give another extra 2 more weeks of rest to Hurts, bro. So tomorrow is the day that they win.
He says, Mishy's mania goes off and it's
Minshew mania.
But he says
you know what he meant. It doesn't make a difference what he said.
I know what he typed, but
there it is. Minshew mania, absolutely.
Okay.
You got to go off, Garner Minshew. You got to go off. It's costing me some serious money. You got to go off. Please.
Well, now that we got that out the way, let's talk about we got one game left or 2 games left.
I want to talk about the dog. How's the dog and what's his name?
That's Lucky. He's 13 years old.
Ooh, he looked like he was an older one. I saw that. He looked like
he looks like
he's a mix. He looks like he's got a gray beard just like me.
Half lab, half pitbull.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my road dog.
Okay.
That's what loves me more than my kid.
Okay.
Damn, bro.
For real, this will go everywhere with me.
Yeah.
Well, while I'm doing this, I'm about to send Tony an invite to come in for the last 2 games. He wanted to come in, so I'm gonna send him the invite.
Get somebody else and set you straight.
Who's Tony? Do I know him?
No, I don't think you've ever. Well, what's the?
Because what you said, get somebody else to set you straight. Get somebody else to set you. See, look at you. You take shots. You don't think I hear your shots. I know your shots.
He's always going foul. He doesn't know how to talk rationally or talk a mature conversation. He's always got to go foul. He's always, let me put it this way. He's always got to talk military language. That's what he's doing. That's military language.
Anyways, does Tony play in our league or no?
Now we invited Tony, but Tony don't want to put that money up. And Tony's a Cowboy fan. Not really. His wife is. But by transplant, there's Tony right
there. He is. What's up, my man? What's up? Okay.
Big Ten Champs, Michigan.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Q, we ain't got to worry about Alabama. We got that one taken care of.
Oh, we got 2. I know. We got 4 more.
4 more. All right.
4 more.
Tony.
What's up, Tony?
What's going on, JT?
All right, my man.
Hey, your team better come through for us tonight.
It should be over by halftime.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
a very confident Michigan man. Okay.
If it's close at halftime, it's going to get worse after half. That's how Michigan been playing all season. So
okay,
that's true. Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad,
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas,
Hippolyta, and all the other good stuff. So we got 2 games left.
What we got?
We got. Oh, actually, it's 1 game. My bad.
Okay.
No, it's 2 games because it's 1 game. It's 1 game. The Jets, Jerry's team, come to Seattle.
Here we go.
I don't care. So, Tony, Seattle's got an outside chance. If we lose, they got an outside chance. The Jets have an outside chance. If
what do you mean if we lose? What you talking about? You're wearing a Cardinal jersey, bro.
But Tony and I are Commander fans. I gotta sell these jerseys one way or the other. I got that warm moon. I got that
Carson
warm
Wentz
moon.
ain't gonna do nothing. Neither will Tyler Heineke. So yeah, that's gonna be a loss tomorrow.
Maybe you should wear some winning team jerseys so you can sell them.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
I know you ain't talking with the Dodgers crap on.
Hey, what you talking about, bro?
Dodgers and Marquette. Anyway, Seattle hosts the Jets. Now, Mr. White returns. That tells me Garrett Wilson's going to have a big game. That tells me the passing game is going to be pretty decent. But Seattle's no joke. Jerry's Geno ain't been so Genorific. There's a chance that Tyler Lockett plays. There's a chance he's not going to play. Walker has slowed down. It's like he hit that rookie wall once he got injured. I don't know what really Seattle's going to do in this game, but it's in Seattle. Mike White, it looks like he surpassed a number one draft pick. I'm gonna go with Tony. I'm gonna go with Q, and then that'll be it. No, I'll finish up with Jerry. Go ahead, Tony.
Nah, this will be a close one, but I think the Jets pull it out in the second half. Even though it's in Seattle, like you said, I think the Seattle offense isn't what it used to be. Even if Tyler Lockett is out there, I think the Jets defense will be able to hold their own more than the Seattle defense will hold their own. So it'll be close, and I got the Jets winning by 6.
Okay. Q?
I don't know if you guys been paying attention, but Mike White, he has broken ribs, bro. I mean, he's not going to be the same Mike White that he was the last couple games before he left. Like, that's a serious injury, dude. Look at what Justin Herbert went through. When he got those broken ribs, he didn't play good for like 3 games. He was struggling to throw that ball, So I think this is going to be a pretty close game. I got Seattle winning by like a field goal, but I don't think it's going to be an explosive offensive game like everybody's predicting because, I mean, those ribs, they're going to hit him again, and it's going to be tight, I like both. I like Seattle to win by a field goal.
All right, JT and Dune in the background.
Okay, the Jets are 4-3 on the road. The Seattle's 3-4 at home. The Jets are average 22.5 points a game. Seattle scores 21 points a game. The over/under is 42.5. 8-7 are the Jets against the spread. 6-9 is the Seattle Seahawks against the spread. I like Geno in this game. I know there's going to be the Jets defense. The Jets defense is tough. I've been very impressed with the Jets defense. Quentin Williams and Sauce Gardner, who's probably going on be on DK Metcalf, is no joke. Defensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. But I like Seattle playing at home. Jets going all the way on the West Coast, playing Seattle. I like the Seattle Seahawks in this game.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think Geno is going to be a big play, but it is what it is. We know you got that man crush. It's okay. With that being said,
and I'm not ashamed of it either.
I know you're not. I know you're not. That ends our week of picks, but it's time for someone to get their teaser on. And when we play teasers, we got to give that man his music. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, again, if you are watching this, if you have a gambling problem, such as JT looks like he has, we are not encouraging you to place wagers. This is on your own volition. If you do place wagers, know your limitations. Don't bet more than you have or put yourself at risk for a chance at winning money. Bet responsibly. With that being said, I'm about to hit this man's music and go.
So you guys probably won't see me on screen, but you can still hear me. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it out to you guys.
Okay.
My 16 teaser. My 16 teaser for this week is number 1, the Cleveland Browns plus 8 points. My second game is gonna be the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 8.5. My third game is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles plus half a point. My fourth game is going to be the New York Giants plus half a point. My fifth game is going to be Seattle Seahawks plus 7.5. And last but not least, I'm going to go with Minnesota Vikings plus 9.
Ooh, Minnesota plus 9. Ooh.
That would be your Q's teasers, and we're going to run back again. For those that missed them, without the music, the man likes the disco music, so we play the disco music.
Actually, that was your call, not mine.
So, Q, real quick, rattle off those 16 teasers for those that want to play them. Or JT.
Okay, one more.
What do you want?
You got it so we don't lose Q's face. So go ahead.
It's the Browns plus 8, Pittsburgh plus 8.5, Philadelphia plus a point. Philadelphia plus half a point.
Half a point.
Yeah, the New York Giants plus a half a point, Seattle plus 7.5, and Minnesota plus 9.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah, I like this teaser a lot because I think a lot of those games are going to be really close, and a lot of those teams that I think are going to win, they're getting points. So, you know.
Yep.
All right, Tony, what you got on here? You got anything you want to add to the conversation, young man?
Go Blue.
Big Blue.
Tony, what you think about anything about any of those games? You disagree with any of those?
I was about to bring up the college playoff because that's the last topic.
I'm talking about the teaser real quick.
Oh, the teaser. What do you think about?
I would, if I was a betting man, I would go with those. Those are pretty good picks. That Philly one, if I was a betting man, Philly -1, yeah, I'd put my life savings on that. If Philly gonna beat,
they're plus half.
Yeah.
With that teaser, they're plus half. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So real quick, since we got the Michigan man who went to Michigan and loves Michigan, let's talk about these 4 teams. We got TCU going against Michigan. Both teams are second half teams. Tony, unbiasedly, tell us what you think about that game.
This is all I'm gonna say. Kansas State is getting the brakes beat off them by Alabama right now, and they beat TCU. What do you think Michigan gonna do? That's all I have to say.
All right, Q.
I just hope they score over 50 points.
I think the score is going to go over 50. I think the score is going to go over 50.
Yeah.
I really think so.
Doesn't TCU have very good defense?
They do.
Man, that's a Big 12 defense, bro. You can't even call that a defense. Come on now.
Well, I'll put it this way.
Big 12 ain't played defense since they've been called the Big 12.
Okay.
I know. Come on.
Go ahead, JT.
I'm just asking. I don't follow college football that closely, but
Big 12 defense sucks, bro. Come on.
Here's what I'll say.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say. You like Hassan Haskins last year, JT. I did not. I thought Hassan Haskins was the second best running back on that team. He went to Tennessee in the 4th round, hence that. I think Crone, that dude's legit. He's 5 foot nothing, but he reminds me of Ray Rice, minus knocking out the girlfriend. I think that kid is a stud. And if TCU can find a way to stop him,
but they ain't got to stop him. He's not playing. He had knee surgery December 2nd.
So my criteria for a running back is he's got to be at least 5'10" and above. 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1". That's my criteria for a running back. He's got to be at least 205 to 220, 225. Well, that's my ideal running back.
Okay, ideal doesn't mean it's the exact. But Chrome is what, 5'9" or 5'8", something like
5'9", I think it's 215, 220.
Yes, 5'9", so he fits your criteria.
He ain't 5'10", 5'9". He ain't big enough.
You said
he 5'10" when you wear your shoes.
Exactly. Anyway, all right. Well, if TCU can find a way to stop that power run game of Michigan, I think they can throw on Michigan. And Duggan has a big arm, and he's a big boy who loves to run.
TCU's problem, like I said, they'll figure out, just like most teams, they'll figure out in the first half how to stop the run. The problem is TCU will think that Michigan is going to not run anymore, and what most people have found out in the second half. That's all Michigan's going to do to you in the second half is run the ball. And the running back that's starting today, Don Neville, 6'1", 210 pounds. You saw what he did in the second half against Purdue. I think it was plus 150 yards. In the second half against Ohio State, 2 big runs of 75 yards plus. TCU's defense ain't able to handle that. Plus, you're talking about the best offensive line in college football 2 years running. That defense ain't gonna be able to handle those 5 guys up front.
Hey Tony, I heard that TCU runs a 3-3-5 defense.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
And that'll be.
You think that's gonna have that kind of an effect on it?
Go ahead. I know about a 3-3-5, but go ahead.
I would say with a 3-3-5, it actually bodes well for Michigan because now you're telling the Michigan offense that the defensive backs, those extra nickel backs, are going to have to make more tackles.
Yep.
With again that power running game behind Michigan, because most of the time, most Michigan running backs get to the second and third level before they touch. So if you're asking these cornerbacks and safeties to tackle running backs from Michigan, they're gonna have to get out of that 3-3-5. Otherwise, it's gonna be a bad day for them.
Well, I'll say this because I saw them do
it. Business decision cornerbacks have to make.
Well, I'll do this because I've seen them. They've jumped into a bear front as well as a 3-3-5. They play a 3-3-5, but they show it as a bear.
Mm-hmm.
So their nose tackle, he eats people up, right? The DNs are pretty much hybrid D tackles / DNs. They have some good linebackers. Their starting 3 linebackers good, but they bring that safety down in that box. So it's more of a 3-4.
Mm-hmm.
And in this game, they're going to have to play it like a 3-4 because the quarterback from Michigan isn't the same quarterback that was there a year or so ago. This kid can throw the ball a little bit. He can also run around with the ball.
Well, my question is this.
Wait a minute. Save your question. Here's what I see happening, though. I think Michigan is going to have to throw it because TCU can throw it and can score quickly. So that power run game that you're talking about, Tony, they're going to stick to it, but they're going to have to throw the ball to stay in the game and then beat them down to the 4th quarter so they win the game. I see it going over 50 points, Q. Probably over 50 points before halftime.
I got 2 questions.
I'm not even joking.
I got 2 questions.
Come on, that would be smooth. That would be smooth.
One for the TCU defense and the other one for Michigan's defense. How much has TCU's defense played at 3-4? And
all year.
I thought you told me they played 3-3-5.
No, they play at 3-3-5.
They've been playing. I was reading. They played 3-3-5 95% of the time this whole year.
Yeah.
Okay. And my other question is, if TCU is passing the football, how good is the pass rush in Michigan and the backside of Michigan?
That's a Tony question. I followed Michigan. I don't think they have anybody that is purely dominant that's up for the Buckets Award or anything like that. It's not the Buckets Award. That's the linebacker. But I don't think they have anybody that is like a straight animal up front. Tony can talk about that. Their secondary is okay. They're not like top in the land, but they're okay. What you got?
You mean they can hold their own? Is that what you're telling me?
They're decent, but they will get smoked by these fast boys from TCU. There better be a safety over top. That's what I think.
Michigan plays a lot of that cover too, and every now and then they'll bring the safety into the box if a team thinks they can run the ball on them. But the defensive line, I think Michigan's suspect area is the linebackers, but for the most part, the defensive line will hold their own. So if TCU thinks that their running back and Duggan is going to get off, that's not going to work because we have a starting 4 up front, but there's a rotation of, I think, 8 other guys that come in and relieve everybody. So there's always a fresh body somewhere on our offensive line. So while they're still trying to pound the ball, we got fresh bodies coming in. And by doing that, like I said, once we relieve the defensive backs of any type of having to do any run defense, they sit back in the back and just play the zone and just look for people because that's what Ohio State thought they were going to do. Ohio State was like, well, we're just going to throw the ball all over the place. And in the first half, they kind of did. But in the second half, that front 4 was like, all right, we tired of you throwing the ball. They started attacking that offensive line and running backs, and Ohio State found themselves down by 10-plus points. Then they had no choice but to throw the ball. And instead of Michigan having to rely on the front 4, they was like, yeah, we'll just drop 3, and then we'll drop 8 in the coverage. And if you beat it, great. But if not, we're going to win the game. And that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in that Michigan-Ohio State game. And that's why a lot of people wanted to see TCU versus Michigan because you can throw on them. They want to actually see TCU versus Georgia because Michigan versus Ohio State is the more appealing game, right? Because they know each other so well. And that leads me to that game, Georgia and Ohio. I'm actually picking Ohio State because Ohio State can throw the ball really well. Georgia does not give up a lot of points, but Stetson Bennett should not have been at the Heisman Trophy ceremony. I believe Malik Hooker should have been there instead of Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett was there because of Georgia. You understand? They have McConkey. Jerry, you remember Phil McConkey, right?
Sure.
His son plays for Georgia.
Okay.
Right? He's pretty damn good.
What does he play?
Receiver.
Okay.
Georgia has a good set of receivers, but what I noticed is Stetson Bennett can get frustrated and overshoot the ball, and Georgia receivers sometimes drop the ball when they shouldn't be dropping it, right? But again, it comes down, can Ohio State stop the run? Because that's what they're going to bring. Bulldogs are going to bring the run, right? Just what Tony was talking about, how Michigan was like, nah, we still going to run the ball. That's what Georgia's going to do. I just think that's a possibility. But if it becomes a shootout, which I think it's going to become, Ohio State wins that game and upsets Georgia. That's what I think. We'll go around the table, and y'all tell me what you think. Then we're going to get out of here. So let's go Tony. No, I went that way last time. Let's go JT, Q, then Tony.
Ohio State.
Q.
I think Stetson Bennett's lucky to be playing in the team that he's playing for because he wouldn't make it in any other team. He's been playing college ball for like 20 years now. He still ain't good.
20 years, really, bro?
He's like 26 years old, bro.
I know.
So he's been, I think so. Yeah, but anyways, I really hope that Ohio State shows up today, and then they got the dogs to match up with Georgia. So I'm hoping for Ohio State.
All right, Tony.
And a shootout.
Oh, I think it's going to be a shootout.
I look at this game and I look at Georgia's probably looking at this game like they looked at the Tennessee game and saying if we play like we played Tennessee, Ohio State is a similar matchup to that. I think what bodes well for Georgia is that it's a home game for them. But what doesn't bode well for them, like you were saying, Vic, is that if Marvin Harrison Jr., like even though they're playing without Ejigba, I think Ejigba's sitting out the game, but if Marvin Harrison Jr. and their tight ends can get off of their defensive backs, Georgia's offense is just like Michigan. It's predicated on the run, and that run sustained itself through 4 quarters. Ohio State's plan is to get up on you and then force you to throw the ball, which, like Q was saying, Stetson Bennett, like I said, he shouldn't even been in one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC, let alone the top 4 in the country. But I don't think he has the pedigree. Because I look at Stetson Bennett like I look at Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer only got a Super Bowl because he had a defense behind him. Yep. Stetson Bennett.
That's a really good comparison right there.
Stetson Bennett got a championship last year because of the defense behind him, and he's been riding that defense. You know what I'm saying? I tell a lot of people, and I've talked to a couple of coaches. I'm like, if you want to beat Georgia, look at the Missouri game. That's how you beat Georgia. If you play like Missouri played them, just don't care about what's going to happen. Just keep playing until you can't play no more. Then you can beat Georgia because they held Georgia to 26 points. Everybody else has pretty much let Georgia run the muck on them. I think the defenses that can do it in these 14 playoffs, again, Ohio State and Michigan are 2 defenses that can do that. So while I don't want to root for Ohio State, I'm going to pick them to beat Georgia. That way Michigan can beat them again for the second time in the same season and then have
So you want the tiebreaker? You want that tiebreaker game?
Oh, it ain't gonna be it. When we already beat them 2 years straight, and then we get them in the championship, just gonna make it feel even more better. And then they got to come to the big house next year anyway. So we come back. I think.
Hey Tony, if Michigan make it to the final, you want to come watch the game?
Q got tickets. He's got tickets. Q has tickets to the national championship game. I got 2 tickets. He's got 2 tickets to the national championship. Almost had some too. They going for big money now.
The only reason I'm not going to be able to go because my son starts basketball and football in right after New Year, so he has basketball on Sundays and football on Saturdays. So that's the only reason I can't make that trip.
Bruh,
I got those tickets going for sale tomorrow morning after we know what 2 teams are going.
you put me on some game.
I hear
you. Put me on some. I'm gonna have Super Bowl tickets. I'm gonna have national championship tickets. I'm gonna have Final Four tickets. Come at me if y'all need them tickets, man.
I feel you.
Where's the Super Bowl being played at this year?
This year's in Arizona.
Oh, Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my favorite.
And next
states.
year it's gonna be in Vegas.
That's one of my favorite states is Arizona.
Oh well, you better come with some money.
That is absolutely one of my favorite states is Arizona.
Well, that's what I'm retiring to. But if you want them tickets next year when it goes to Vegas, come holler at your boy. I ain't got them this year for Arizona.
Okay.
But I'm telling you right now, Final Four tickets, I'm getting them. Next year's national championship game, I'm getting them. Super Bowl, I'm getting them.
College basketball, college football, I'm not into, but if it's
I think I'm gonna make 5 times my money what I paid for them.
I know you are. Yes. Anyway. I just got a money scratch. Anyway. With that being said, JT, tomorrow's New Year's Day. Are you doing the show? Yes or no?
I'm doing the show, and my show is going to be. I normally do it the second Sunday of every month, but because it happens.
You're doing a mock draft already?
I'm doing a mock draft. New Year's Day. Absolutely. I'm doing a mock draft New Year's Day.
All right.
There's going to be a lot. There's going to be some surprises. I'm doing a mock draft.
So for those who don't know, JT does a mock draft once a month at the beginning of the year, all the way up to, August.
Yep.
And he changes it. But the one thing he doesn't change is to have Christian McCaffrey at number 1. He's on Christian McCaffrey like Anyway,
and
he's still not the number one pick this year.
I don't know. In that offense, he might be.
Yeah.
Well, in that offense, yeah,
man.
Justin Jefferson has proven he should have been the number one. If Cooper Kupp didn't get hurt, he might have been the number one overall. But Justin Jefferson, thank you, Q. Was obviously the number one. By the way, I gotta admit, Q, you are the reason that I'm going to the championship in the league.
All right, I'll take half of that money.
Hey, wait a minute. Just check this out, Q. You are the champion maker. You know that? Because last year you traded me Cooper Kupp and I went to the championship. This year you traded Justin Jefferson and he's going to the championship.
The difference is I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
Well, let me put it this way. What happened to me last year has never happened in that league. Never, ever happened. No. So it took a monumental score to beat me, but that's okay. I can accept it, no problem.
Well, Tony, it seems like there's going to be a vacancy next year. I really didn't want it to be, but Q
let me know. I'll be there. Let me know. I'll be there.
We got you. Because here's the deal: if he's serious, the person's serious about not coming back because Q called him racist.
What he did.
Q still didn't.
I just call it like I see it, brother. That's all it is.
He keeps it 100. I can't blame you, Q. I can't blame you. Because
I don't believe Brent is racist. Let me put it out there. Brent, I don't believe you're racist, but that name, it invokes certain things. But Tony, you're more than welcome. Next week, we're drafting players into our division. And JT.
Yes, sir.
You better hope to God that Sammy or Q get you before I get to you. Because I really want Tony in my division. Now I know Tony's coming. I want Tony because I'm mad as hell about his pick'ems. And I want to beat him about his pick'ems.
Look, the pick'ems
100, man.
All you have to do.
No. He has a pick'em. He has a pick'em league.
All you do, you pick all the games every week. And what you have to do at the beginning of the season, you have to declare one team as your favorite team. And every week, you have to pick that same team. No matter who they play, you have to pick that same team.
Ooh.
Oh, really? What?
I didn't do that. I didn't realize that. Like this week, I went against my own pick again.
Well, Vic, look. I was just looking at the standings in that league. Now, again, this league ain't rigged. I'm winning the league right now with 157 picks right for the season.
You gotta pay attention to the settings. What the heck?
Yeah, Vic is sitting there. I'm gonna tell you.
See?
We got hold on. As soon as it load up,
and I haven't even picked
16 people. We got 16 people in this thing.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
I know I'm at 14 or 12.
Vic is at 15 with 120.
No, check it out. I missed like a couple weeks because I got a beef with you.
You missed 1 week.
Like I went in Sunday
I got
morning.
You missed 7. Oh no, week 17's happening now. You missed week 14, but other than that, you had some bad.
No. I missed a lot of games.
So you pick one team and you got to pick that team every week.
Every week. Yeah. Other than that, you good to go.
Regardless. But here's the deal. The one thing I don't like is the games don't start till like 1 o'clock, right?
All right.
So I go in Sunday morning at about 8 or 9, right? Because I picked Thursday game. I just didn't pick the rest of the week. The damn things are locked. So I'm like, I can't even pick.
It's in the rules. The game, they locked all the picks are locked an hour before kickoff on Sunday. Right. So at 12
8 o'clock. So 8 a.m. here, West Coast, is 10 a.m. No, 11 a.m. East Coast. And I'm like, why can't I pick the things? It wouldn't let me.
Plain and simple. I'm the commish. If you had a problem with your picks, all you had to do is call me.
Exactly. You got to pay attention to the settings. I don't care what it is. Pick them or whatever. Pay attention.
Okay.
Sign me up for next year. Sign me up.
I want in too, man.
Okay. Yeah. It's a like you said. It's a $30 buy-in.
Yeah,
and
I ain't got no problem with that.
Top 3 places get in. Top 3 places at the end of the year. If you end up with a perfect week, you win your winnings back.
Oh,
So if you get, no matter which week it is, whether it be week 1 or week 18, if you end it with a perfect week, you win your winnings back. And then the rest of this, like I said, if you pick at the beginning of the season, you tell me, like I did, I said, I'm rolling with the Baltimore Ravens this year. Every week, no matter who the Ravens was playing, I had to pick the Ravens.
okay.
And that's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Oh, but you still get to pick all the other games, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
There's no.
That's good. You know,
Yeah,
That-
no points.
it don't
spread,
matter.
just straight up picks.
I want in
all right.
there.
Yeah.
I want in there.
Oh, sign me up, bro.
All right,
So,
next
sign
time.
me up.
if you have 18 teams, Vic will be 18 or 17, one or the other. So he sucks at picking games.
I mean, look, I can look at every week, and I saw some of Vic's picks. Now I wanted to call him. Like, you really picking this game?
Hey, but some of them hit. Some of them hit.
Vic, which ones hit? Like I said, I forget the number of total games been played so far, but I got 158. You got 127. You tell me which one hit.
You're only like 20 something ahead of me. That's
That's 31. That's 2 whole weeks ahead of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, bro.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, I don't have to pick the rest of week 17 to 18, and I'm still gonna beat Vic because you're not gonna make a pick.
You know what, Tony? I hope you choke on something. Anyway.
Thanks a lot, man. I love you too. Okay.
Well, you know we love you. You had your COVID and pneumonia with
Oh, God.
All right, anyway. So if Brent does not return, I'm going to check with him again after this week to make sure. I'll send you an invite to the league. It's Benjamin. It's a Benjamin.
Yep, that's fine.
And we're going to vote to see if we want Yahoo to hold the money or do we want to do it like we normally do. We have a voting system to change rules and stuff like that at the beginning of the year once everybody's paid. So as soon as that, if you come in,
it don't matter if we have a voting system because you changed it. So
yeah, even was trying to change stuff in week 16, 17. Come on, man.
I ain't in yet, but we need to have veto power over Vic. The rest of the league got to have veto power over Vic.
I don't have veto power over any trades or anything like that.
I'm talking about the rules.
The league.
If you change the rules, we need to have veto power.
I'm not changing the rules. I'm not changing
no. What'd you say?
I consider what people say.
No.
I didn't change no rules.
You make the rules in the beginning before the season starts.
I didn't change no rules.
And that's it.
Jerry, be quiet. I didn't change no rule.
You tried to.
No, I listened to the person's. So, Tony, here's the situation. I admire people that play all the way through, even though they're really not playing for no money, right? But one of the players, which is Q's cousin, he lost both his quarterbacks the same week, right? He's playing for last place, and he asked me, could he pick up a player? Because I lock any team that's not playing for money, you have no waiver. You can't pick nothing up on waiver wires, right? But because of the situation, he didn't want to finish last. He asked, could he do it? And I said, yeah. I thought about it for 5 minutes. I said, okay, all right. But then I heard from the league. And the league's like, nope, especially big mouth Jerry over here. And I was
right,
like,
no,
the
rules are the rules.
But I considered it. I didn't say go ahead and do it. I don't know. But he did not do it. And he was picking it up. You know what I said? I said, I'll consider it. And if you do it, it has to be 1 hour before kickoff Sunday. You can't pick up any quarterback before then, right? To give everybody else that's in the playoffs playing for money an opportunity. But then JT came in with his crap. What's up, little Tony?
We're crap. I'm just going by
we
what
have
the
a
rules
child
are.
here. We have a child here. Watch your tone.
I said, what crap? I'm only going by the rules here.
Hi.
The rules say you don't pick up anybody if you're not in the playoffs. Okay? I'm not going to feel sorry for somebody if they lost their quarterbacks and they're not in the playoffs. Okay? You're in the same.
Tony just gave his son.
You're in the same. You're in the same.
Tony just gave his
You're
son.
in the same.
You need to have
as everybody else who's not in the playoffs.
Going into 2020.
Hey Vic, imagine if you would have let him. Imagine if you would have let him pick up that quarterback, and then what if that would have affected Sammy?
No.
What if he?
No, because
What if he would have picked up Jared Goff?
No, what I'm saying is and you missed it. I said he would have. Oh, you mean last week?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
Jared Goff is out there, but it was
right.
It was the last.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. Thank you.
I'm
Thank
It
you.
don't matter.
Thank
I'm
you.
thanking everybody. You get a
Thank you.
shank. You get a shank. And you get a shank. Wait a minute, wrong way. And you get
Look,
a
Vic,
shank.
what you supposed to do in that situation?
I thought about it. I didn't let it happen.
What you supposed to
You
do?
just take the L. That's
Yeah,
it.
he either takes the L or you send a poll question to the league, be like, hey, do y'all
And
want
that's
this
what
to
happened.
happen?
And that's
And
I
then
didn't send a
if
poll
the
out.
league says no,
I did ask the league, and these two guys and another person answered, and it was all no. So I said no. And the guy said, never mind anyway. And it is Q's cousin. So Q could have been like, hey, look out for my cousin, blah, 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 but he did not.
No, you got to be fair, man. You can't let that happen.
yeah.
Silence. All right, anyway. Happy New Year to everybody.
You don't want to hear the truth, and you always try to silence somebody. But that's okay.
Can I please tell the people?
Hey, Washington finished in 7-10, even though they'd be 7-9-1. That one still counts as loss.
No,
so
that's a half a win. That's a half a win.
7-10. I was
That's
right.
a half a win. They're gonna be 8-1.
Who they beating?
Who's your football team, Tony?
Washington.
Unfortunately. Wait a minute. I got
wait a minute. You see if
wait a minute. Before we go anywhere, I got to ask him this question: Carson Wentz, Taylor Heineke, Sam Howell next year.
I say you should tank 2 more years, and wait for that cat from North Carolina to come out.
Oh, we already took one from North Carolina. I'd say put Howell in because you're not gonna pay Wentz. You're not gonna pay Wentz the money he's gonna ask for. So let him go. You keep Heineke. He gonna ask for some more money, but you can garner his to where it's stipulated to say, you know, if just like his current contract where he gets like I think $125,000 for every win.
Incentive based.
You put Howell in there to figure out what you got. That way, you know, going into next year's draft, the 2024 draft, do we need another quarterback or can we build around him and go for that? But I go with Howell.
Totally agree with you because Heineke's on the last year of his 2-year contract, and if they give him a new contract, nobody else is giving him a starter contract.
No.
Nobody.
No.
So you give him a backup contract and let Howell go in there, who is a 5th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
See if he can do it. And if not, you can always draft because there's a ton of quarterbacks coming out this year. You're not going to draft one of the top 5, top 6 quarterbacks this year. But you got an opportunity to get a decent quarterback that can probably compete next year if you draft one, or you wait, like Tony said, 2024 and get one of those other guys.
I think what Washington should do, which is, again, most people think is weird, especially for their first round pick. You already got McLaurin, Dotson at the wide receiver spot. You got Robinson at running back. In their first round pick, I'd find the best tight end in the draft and go there, or find the best left tackle in the draft and go there.
Left tackle.
Either way, one of the two. Because you got most teams, you need a big 3. You need a receiver, tight end, wide, or you need 2 receivers, a running back, or running back, tight end, wide receiver. We got the receivers, we got the running back. We just need somebody to get them the ball and somebody to protect them.
Well, that's what I'm saying because they got.
Yeah, you guys are just a quarterback away, man. Quarterback away because that defense is sick.
Quarterback
There's a little more
and
than
left
that,
tackle.
bro. We definitely need a
That
left
offensive line.
tackle.
What you doing? That offensive
I
line
will
ain't
tell
off chain.
Any decent left tackle coming out?
It might be, but not. We're not going to be drafting high, so lower down is where they're going to be anyway. That's good. There isn't really one dominant left tackle that I know of in college this year. I know Michigan has a senior. Is he a
senior center? He's a center, but
yeah, he's
I don't
not
think he's
going
gonna play no left tackle.
Nah, but I agree with everything Tony just said, 110%. Because we got Bates at tight end, so Logan Thomas signed a big contract, but it's not so big that we can't release him after a year or two. And Bates has already stepped up. Curtis Samuel is that third guy if he can stay healthy. De'Ami Brown, he's just a go guy. That's all I see him.
Yeah, he's not. That young man is not camera shy.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Big time.
He is not camera shy. Oh my God! He's playing to the camera.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let everybody go. Thank you all for watching us, for tuning in with us, for participating with us. Look at Tony being a real dad. I like that. But with that being said, you know what? Everybody.
Hey Tony, if you join our league next year, I'm gonna pick you in my league just to piss off Vic.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
All right. Well, I
You're
don't know what Jerry's trying to do, but we're not gonna let Jerry get nothing out. We'll see you next
He's
Saturday.
talking about the team.
You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
Remember,
face.
because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?